Long live the morning routine. Long live friendly competition. Long live cozy nights at home. And long live healthcare that works with your life. Access to great doctors, simple mobile app, convenient locations across Long Island? Absolutely. You have options, but at Catholic Health, we'd like to remind you to choose you first, because we did too. Long live you, and long live Long Island.
Live from Chaminade High School, it's Rivalry Saturday on the Varsity Media Sports Network. On this picture-perfect fall afternoon, the biggest rivalry in the Catholic League continues. St. Anthony's versus Chaminade, the Flyers versus the Friars on a picture-perfect Saturday afternoon here in mid-October. We appreciate you joining us on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Before we get into this game, I want to thank our sponsor, Catholic Health, for making this possible, having us here for this terrific rivalry, which has another new installment. We're glad to be on hand. We thank you for joining us this afternoon. I'm Kevin Bunk, joined by Pat Godfrey in the broadcast booth today. Pat, this is what fall football is all about in the Catholic League.
Oh, absolutely. When you think great rivalries, a lot of people think Army-Navy, Michigan, Ohio State, Auburn, Alabama. Well, if you're from Long Island, it doesn't get any better than the Chaminade Flyers taking on the St. Anthony's Friars. It had been a long time since Chaminade had gotten the better end of this rivalry, but last year, week one, they came out, shocked the world, and beat St. Anthony's. I'm sure the seniors out on the field for the Friars today are going to be looking for a little bit of vengeance.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape from the last few years. These two teams have really gotten into it. This year, the matchup is very even. 24 points per game on the Chaminade side, 28 points per game. What do you see from these two teams on all three phases that'll play a role in today's game?
Yeah, I think it's an incredibly even matchup. Chaminade had a great start to their season, went to New Jersey and took on Seton Hall Prep, got the upset in that game for the Battle of the Bridge. St. Anthony's a little bit of a slower start to their season, but last time they were out there for homecoming last weekend against Cardinal Hayes, played maybe their best game of the season. So Joe Minucci's squad going to look to take that momentum and turn it to some results here out at Gold Star Stadium.
And we'll take a look quickly at the standings here in the Catholic League. The AAA group, Iona Prep stands tall in first place, but Chaminade St. Anthony's down in fourth and fifth. They come into today's game with a chance to flip their positions in the standings. If you're St. Anthony, Chaminade looking to gain some ground. How about this league this year?
Yeah, it's been a great league. Always is. Last night, for those who follow the Catholic High School Football League, one of the shocks of the century, perhaps, watching Iona Prep go down at home to Monsignor Farrell. So anything can happen on any given night when you're talking about Catholic High School football in New York. Chaminade feels like they're the underdog, even though they won last year. It had been since 2012 prior to that. But since they had beaten the St. Anthony's Friars, St. Anthony's going to have to play a really good game against a well-coached Chaminade team under Tom Claro.
Let's take a look at the impact players on the St. Anthony's side of things. For the Friars, Jax Prokop at tight end, a great physical, extra lineman kind of a player, and DJ Garcia on the other side on the defensive line. What do you see from these two?
Yeah, Prokop's a guy who brings some really nice size to the table, does a good job in the run game, and can also open things up in the passing game. Just 4 receptions on the year, but a guy who Joe Minucci thinks can factor big into their plans here today. And on the flip side, DJ Garcia, this defensive lineman, is playing his best football as this season goes on. I think that tackle stat is a little bit off. Watched him last week really wreck the game up against Cardinal Hayes, had his best outing of the year, and he's going to really need to continue that against a well-coached Chaminade offensive line.
And on the other side for Chaminade, they have the guys to counteract those two. Anthony Trapani, a talented running back, and Lucas Smith, a do-it-all player in the front seven on the opposite side of the ball. What do you see from these guys? Yeah,
Trapani's a guy who doesn't necessarily have the measurables that you typically look at for an elite running back at 5'8", 180 pounds, but he runs physically, and he's having a great season so far, averaging about 7.5 yards per carry. On the flip side of the ball, Lucas Smith, their captain, really the emotional leader of that defense who's committed to Tufts. He's a guy who has everything you're looking for a big-time defensive lineman, 6'1", 230 out of Glen Head, already has a forced fumble and a couple fumble recoveries in his career, and he's a guy who with 88 tackles in a Chaminade uniform is going to look to have his biggest game thus far in the biggest rivalry that he gets to play in.
Both of these coaches understand what's at stake. They gave us the keys to the game ahead of this matchup, 3 on each side. Pat, when you look through the keys of the game from Coach Claro and Coach Minucci, what are you seeing?
Yeah, for St. Anthony's, you want to keep the Chaminade offense off of the field. Their offensive line can really get into a rhythm, create some good momentum, so it's going to be important to get stops on third down. You need a strong run game. Xavier Bala, maybe the most talented running back in all of New York this year. He's got close to 20 Division I offers. He's going to have to play like it coming off of a game where he had 4 touchdowns against Cardinal Hayes and limit the big plays. That's been the Achilles heel. When they lost to Iona Prep a couple weeks back, Crew Davis ran roughshod over their defense. They're really going to need to keep everything in front of them. On the flip side, for Chaminade, got to limit the mistakes and penalties. They really feel like if we're going to win today, we have to be the smarter, better executing team against a highly talented St. Anthony's attack. You got to execute in the red zone. St. Anthony's does a really good job of getting off the field. When you get those opportunities inside the 20, you got to go make sure that you turn it into touchdowns and then slow down Xavier Bala. He's a guy who's got 14 touchdowns on the year. When he gets going, he can really cause some chaos for opposing defenses. If you can slow down that 4-star recruit, it's going to be a key to success out here today.
Absolutely. We're moments away from the opening kickoff. We'll step out for a moment as these two teams take the field. Don't go anywhere. Chaminade versus St. Anthony's is on deck right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Hi, I'm Katie Ledecky. As an Olympic athlete, you might think staying healthy is easy for me. Truth is, we all face challenges. Keeping the right mindset is how we achieve our best personal performance. At Catholic Health, the same focus on wellness and prevention that I follow every day is the way they think too. That's why I'm teaming up with Catholic Health to help make healthcare even more positive, proactive, and personal for every person across Long Island. Long live you, and long live Long Island.
Now is a great time to book a sportscast with Varsity Media. What sets our sportscast apart isn't just the quality of our production, it's the knowledge, passion, and professionalism that our announcers bring to every game.
There's Merrill. Oh, look at a fake by Merrill. There's the spin again. Gary Merrill is not human. Touchdown, St. Anthony. Profeta! 1-0, Garden City.
Our commentators research athletes and highlight storylines that matter to your communities. Our approach creates a broadcast experience that not only informs, but elevates the athletes, giving the kind of recognition usually reserved for professional levels. Varsity Media's announcers make sure that every athlete has their moment. So book a Varsity Media Sportscast today, and let's get your team the recognition it deserves.
High school sports fans, Varsity Media is the exclusive live stream partner of Nassau County Championships. To live stream fall, winter, and spring championship events, head to varsitymediapass.com to order. Now accessible on smart TVs. Varsity Media is your home for the Nassau County Championships. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for upcoming schedules and content, and on social media at Varsity Media.
Parents, your support means everything to your athletes and to us at Varsity Media. To help us continue bringing you the best YouTube coverage of high school sports on Long Island, we invite business owners to consider a sponsorship on our broadcasts. If you own a business, consider a sponsorship for your athlete's team. It's a great way to show support, gain visibility, and keep the coverage going strong. Join us in making a difference. Contact Varsity Media today to learn more about broadcast sponsorship opportunities by emailing ben@varsitymedia.net.
Hey parents, coaches, and players. Ever wonder what makes Varsity Media stand out as the tri-state leader in sports live streaming and videography?
Well, I've been working with Varsity Media for, 14 years. When we have video needs, whether that be a game, whether that be a practice, whether it be social media, it's nice to know that somebody understands what we're looking for without asking for it.
We started working with Varsity Media back in 2021, and since then they've been an absolute game changer, putting our event on the map. Varsity Media couldn't be a better partner, and if you're looking to optimize your event, I couldn't recommend them anymore.
It's been great for us. You know, the kids really get excited when they know that Varsity Media is going to be here. Not just what's happening on the football field, but all the excitement that's around it. It really boosted the environment here, and everybody gets really excited for what's going on.
Varsity Media is reliable, professional, and the quality work is fantastic. It's like watching ESPN. The announcers are unreal, really do a great job of speaking to the coaches to get the knowledge of the players, the season, what's going on with the team. There is nothing better than Varsity Media doing a live broadcast.
If you'd like to book with Varsity Media, reach out at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
Back live at Chaminade High School, coin toss time between the Friars and Flyers. Great showing of alumni here, class of 1975. All the stops are out for this rivalry game. Pat, this stadium is absolutely stunning, especially on a mid-October gorgeous afternoon like this. There's not a better place to be.
Yeah, it's really, really impressive. I've been to some Division I facilities that would be jealous of what Chaminade has here at Gold Star Stadium. And really you can feel the electricity in the air. Both fan bases kind of live for this weekend. One of those types of games where, hey, you can go have a great season, but if you don't take care of your crosstown rival on Long Island, it's going to be a failure. So really everything at stake here today.
One of the great quotes this week from getting ready for this game was from head coach Tom Claro, who beat St. Anthony's in his first ever coaching competition, which is an unbelievable feat for a first-time coach at Chaminade. And he said the best part as a coach about St. Anthony's week is you don't have to get any of the guys motivated, because from Monday they are ready to go and jacked up, and you can tell based on the energy we've seen on the sideline.
Yeah, for Chaminade, they've kind of had ups and downs throughout the course of the season. They played really well in an overtime win against Stepanak, but didn't do the same versus St. Peter's. Guaranteed they're going to have the juice out here today.
Be right back after the national anthem for Chaminade versus St. Anthony's on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Hi, I'm Katie Ledecky. As an Olympic athlete, you might think staying healthy is easy for me. Truth is, we all face challenges. Keeping the right mindset is how we achieve our best personal performance. At Catholic Health, the same focus on wellness and prevention that I follow every day is the way they think too. That's why I'm teaming up with Catholic Health to help make healthcare even more positive, proactive, and personal for every person across Long Island. Long live you, and long live Long Island.
High school sports fans, Varsity Media is the exclusive live stream partner of Nassau County Championships. To live stream fall, winter, and spring championship events, head to varsitymediapass.com to order. Now accessible on smart TVs. Varsity Media is your home for the Nassau County Championships. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for upcoming schedules and content, and on social media at Varsity Media.
I think if we need a few seconds when we come out, just a quick Xavier Balla, biggest name in the game type of thing.
Fans, let's meet the officials for today's game.
It'll be easy going. Sometimes it's tough when you're studying up and have no idea about the programs.
Back live from Chaminade High School. It's almost kickoff time here between St. Anthony's and the Chaminade Flyers. Once again, I'm Kevin Bunk, joined by Pat Godfrey on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Pat, we didn't get into it too much in pregame, but Xavier Balla for St. Anthony's is the biggest name in this game. He's arguably the biggest name in the Catholic League this year. 18 recruiting offers from Division I schools, including Alabama, Penn State, and Ohio State, along with many others. What do you see from this kid's game that makes him that special?
Yeah, Xavier Ball has been a special guy since he came up to varsity as a freshman a couple years back, something that you'll rarely see within this St. Anthony's program. But he's continued to develop physically this offseason, really committed himself in the weight room, and that's paid dividends. He just runs with a different level of physicality at 6'1", 215, and if he can get a little bit of open space, he can really make you pay. So he's a guy to watch all day long. I'm sure somebody who Chaminade has been very concerned about as they've been going through prep this week.
63 degrees and partly cloudy here on a picture-perfect afternoon from Gold Star Stadium. St. Anthony's will kick the ball off first. Chaminade will receive, and the fans are still filling in here for a packed house. You have the gorgeous section to our right if you're sitting in the bleachers where alumni and donors stand. It's really just a beautiful afternoon and a great setting for this terrific rivalry.
This is what you live for when you're calling games on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
This is what it's all about. Dean Novolino will have the opening kick for St. Anthony's. First kick is up and away, returned at the 21. With some room up the middle, it's going to be good starting field position for the Flyers at the 45-yard line.
Yeah, really nice return there from McCoy Wallace. Going to set them up with some great field position as Sean Carnevale looks to get things right after a tough week last week against Iona Prep. He had a touchdown and an interception, 12 for 21, 162 yards, but a guy who's as capable as any signal caller we'll see in the Catholic League.
Sean Carnevale, 6 foot 190. The junior looks to pick up a huge rivalry win today in front of his hometown crowd.
See big Hank Peterson line up in the backfield.
Handoff goes to Trapani up the middle, takes it right side, just short of the sticks. A positive first down play to start this game for the Chaminade offense.
Yeah, one thing St. Anthony's had difficulty with all year long is if you can get through their front four, that linebacking core has been hit or miss. Right here, you'll see Trapani get a nice lane behind that lead block of Peterson and sets up second and short.
Second down and about 1 for Chaminade. Motion man right to left and a flag. It's going to be a false start. On the motion was Sean Powers for the Flyers, but that'll set him back.
Yeah, like Kelly Dern in the right guard right there. Just a little bit anxious, and that's something you got to kind of keep your eyes on. You know, these guys build so much emotion up going into this game. But you got to settle down once you get out there. That's really what these opening drives are all about.
Let's take a look at the offensive starters led by Sean Carnevale, Aaron Blades at running back, but Anthony Trapani will split the load with him. Michael Genovese, Sean Powers, Henry Peterson, and Rob Foshi are the pass catchers, and along the offensive line, a lot of big bodies we'll get to in a moment. Here's a good run for Trapani, picks up the first down across the 40 down to the 36.
Yeah, this offensive line for Chaminade with Cassidy at left tackle, Latamata, Declan Miller, Kelly Durnan, and Tom Claro has been doing a really good job up front all year. And Trapani's a guy who, as talented as any running back you're going to see in this league, there's a reason he's averaging close to 8 yards a carry and just kind of picking up where he's been all year long on those opening 2 carries.
Powers motions right to left again. It's another handoff for Trapani. This time, not much room, but makes something out of it. Picks up about 4.
Yeah, and right there, Frank Filiberto, a bit of an undersized guy at linebacker for St. Anthony's, able to fly up and make the hit.
One of many on this talented Friars defense. DJ Garcia, Rohith Jampali, Brendan Shaughnessy, and Ethan Bramoff up front. Frank Filiberto, who just made that play, part of that linebacker core, along with Dave McHugh and John Drew. In the secondary, Noah Allen, Kevin Moore, and the pair of safeties for St. Anthony's.
You got Rooney as well as Sanchez.
There's a throw right side. It's caught. Going to get 9 yards. So Carnevale's first completion of the game goes to Trapani.
It's been all Michael Trapani here earlier. Here's our player to watch going into this game. And really a one-man band so far on offense, cooking the St. Anthony's D.
That'll bring up 4th and 1 here. So the first 4th down of the game. 3rd and 1, excuse me.
And these are the types of situations where if you're Chaminade, really got to execute. You'd imagine this is 4-down territory with the kind of offensive line that they have, but finishing up these plays and drives in plus territory are going to be key.
Carnevale under center, hands off right side for Trapani. He gets the first down and then some. To the 20-yard line he goes. A positive gain again for the star running back.
Yeah, right here they're just going to run behind that talented right side of the offensive line. You got a double team coming from Durnan and Claro that clears open a big hole for Trapani and keeps the sticks moving as they get into the red zone for the first time today. One thing that Tom Claro is always so focused on is that play up front. He's a former NFL offensive lineman, and these Flyers play like it.
His son, Tom Claro Jr. at right tackle for this Flyer team. Play action, rolling left. Carnevale looking, he's under pressure, throws it away. Great rush for St. Anthony's. Off the edge, it was Frank Filiberto.
Yeah, Filiberto is a guy who didn't get a ton of snaps early on in this season, but has played so well in his opportunities. He's worked his way into the starting lineup right there. Carnevale just barely able to get that one off. Lucky to avoid a sack there on first down.
Held it until he couldn't anymore. Filiberto forced him to throw it away, and now 2nd down and 10 for Chaminade on this all-important opening drive. Motions a receiver out wide left, hands it off to Trapani. He has some room. Trapani cuts it back. 3 tacklers have to bring him down after picking up the first at the 8-yard line.
Yeah, steady diet of Michael Trapani has been the recipe for success out here so far. Once again, running behind that right side. Really nice pancake block up front from Declan Miller to clear the way. And all of a sudden, they're looking at a 1st and goal situation with just under 8 minutes to play in this first quarter.
Declan Miller does a great job right there, opening up the space. 3-time starter now. He's a captain. Moved to right guard. Has played center, obviously, where he's starting today, and just a really versatile weapon here for Chaminade. Trapani breaks a tackle in the backfield, gets back to the line of scrimmage, maybe just a bit past it.
Right there, Anthony Sanchez does a good job flying up off the edge. He's a cornerback. You won't see this too often, but he's leading the team in both tackles and interceptions. Guy who had 2 picks last week against Cardinal Hayes, maybe the best game of his young career. Only a junior and playing really well opposite Kevin Moore, who's obviously kind of the star out there on defense, a Delaware commit for St. Anthony's.
Great physical corner, Sanchez. Let's see if Chaminade can pick up a win here on 2nd down. Throw right side, Trapani. It's a bit high. Took a shot after. It's an incompletion. Big 3rd down coming up now for the Flyers.
Yeah, once again right here, you see that physicality from Anthony Sanchez. Not a lot of corners who like to lay the wood like this, but that ball sails a little bit on Carnevale and puts Trapani in a tough spot. Big 3rd down here. When you got that St. Anthony's Friars offense waiting on the sideline, you know the pressure is on. Got to turn these big drives into touchdowns, not field goals. We'll see how aggressive Chaminade gets here. They'd love to punch one in.
3rd and goal from the 6. Carnevale in the shotgun, Trapani to his right. Drops back, looks left, now rolling right, throws to Trapani. It's caught, but he's taken down immediately at the 2-yard line.
Yeah, once again, that ball a little bit high from Carnevale. Trapani has to jump for it and slows him down just enough for Dave McHugh to fly up and make the hit. You'll see right here, Trapani gets knocked down, able to regain his composure, catch that one, but just short. And now decision time. Looks like Chaminade going to play a little bit more conservatively as they send the field goal unit out.
Take a look at the field goal unit here. Justin Jones, the kicker. Michael Genovese is the holder. And snapper Anthony Trapani does it all. You get a whistle, though. It's encroachment on St. Anthony's.
That's going to be half the distance to the goal. What if this changes the calculus for Tom Claro? All of a sudden, they're going to move from about the 4-yard line to about the 1.5, 2. Looks like the field goal unit staying out on the field. Bit surprising the way they've run the ball at will against St. Anthony's, and all of a sudden, what do you know? The offense comes back out onto the field for the Friars. Huge 4th down situation coming up.
Massive momentum spot here early in this game, approaching 6 minutes to play. Chaminade's going to go for 6 instead of taking the 3.
And I like this aggression right here from Coach Claro. Your offensive line really having their way with St. Anthony's on this first drive. See if they can stop Trapani for the first time all day.
They'll hand it off to Trapani. He cuts right, dives forward. And they say he's short. St. Anthony's makes the stand on the opening drive at the 1-yard line.
How about that right there? As you see the big offensive lineman, Bryce Chanchuli, coming off, pumped up. That's a huge stop. Couple backers flying up. The likes of John Drew, the senior from Northport, and that is a big play here early at Gold Star Stadium.
Jeep Grand Cherokee with New York license plate.
The score stays 0-0 after the Flyers' opening drive. For St. Anthony's now, they'll be led out by Anthony Diesso, who looks to give them a little breathing room, backed up at his own 1.
Diesso's been great with his legs in recent games. Kind of a new element that we've seen over the last couple weeks.
No gain. Chaminade wants a safety. Looks like they're going to keep things at the 1 here with forward progress.
Yeah, I'd expect a steady diet of Xavier Balo the next couple plays. He's a big physical runner, and St. Anthony's really just looking for some breathing room.
On this starting offense, Diesso and Bala make up that backfield. The pass catchers, Johnny Russo, Anthony Mancaruso, George Skandaris, the tight end, Jax Prokop, and a great offensive line in front of them. This handoff maybe gets a yard for Bala. Chaminade's defense looking to put that offense right back on the field.
Got to be careful there, too. Looked like after the play, the ball popped out.
The Chaminade starting defense looking to respond to St. Anthony's statement up front. Joe Chabis, Matthew Arias, Tom Jemison, and then in the linebacking group, Lucas Smith, Liam Trainer, Nick Vachetta, and Anthony Trapani. Trapani does it all. You got him on special teams. You got him at running back, and you have him out here at linebacker. More of a linebacker by trade who is pretty great at running back. Get a flag right away, and it's going to be encroachment on the defense.
And that's exactly what the doctor ordered if you're St. Anthony's. Really hate these situations for your quarterback lined up with his heels in the end zone. That 5 yards right there all of a sudden sets up a 3rd and manageable, and more importantly, gives them the ability to operate without the fear of a safety.
Rounding out this Chaminade defense in the secondary, Ben Beckiers, Shea Sykes, Luca Mastronardi, and Henry Kassouf. Flag on the play after the snap in the backfield. It's not going to go anywhere.
A lot of physicality here. You see the Flyers D absolutely fired up in front of this home crowd, looking to get a stop and regain some momentum after their team got stopped in just a 1-yard line.
You can see Luca Mastronardi absolutely fired up after that play, which I believe is going to take St. Anthony's offense off the field. Mastronardi, 5'9", 165 safety. A junior with a lot of promise. Plays with a lot of energy out there.
Here for St. Anthony's, you're going to see Kevin Moore, their talented, do everything man, play some DB primarily, but also wide receiver and their primary punter. Going to be important for him to get a good kickoff, try and flip this field a little bit.
2 returners back for Chaminade. Shea Sykes is one of them. The punt back will be played at the 36 and returned to the 27 or 24-yard line. Flag late on the play. I think it's going to go against St. Anthony's. Chaminade set up here on their second drive.
Yeah, it's a nice return right there by Ben Beckiers. There's a flag early, which usually goes against the returning team, and another one late. We'll see how our officiating crew deals with this one. couple offsetting personal fouls right there. So Chaminade will retain the great field position, starting off on the St. Anthony's 24.
After coming up short, they have a chance to correct it here. Kicking it off at the 24-yard line on this drive.
First time we're seeing Aaron Blades lined up in the backfield at running back. We saw a lot of Trapani that opening drive, but Blades also a talented runner. Helps alleviate Trapani, who's playing both sides of the field right now, offense and D.
Carnevale gets the snap, gives to Blades. Blades with room up the middle, takes it to the 19-yard line. Aaron Blades is a guy who was a wide receiver. They moved him to running back because he's such a compact athlete. And you see him right here get a few yards, but Coach Claro said to me, it's just been tough for him because Trapani's been so good, but we have another great back here in Aaron Blades who we want to get more involved in this game plan, and giving Trapani that rest and being able to have Blades, and Blades getting the opportunity is a great situation.
Without a doubt, Aaron Blades, another really good athlete.
They fake the handoff, go screen left side. It's going to get them about a yard on the completion. That was Henry Peterson, the tight end.
Yeah, John Drew, the senior middle linebacker for St. Anthony's, flew up and made that hit. He's a returning starter, one of the more senior leaders on this St. Anthony's defense.
Peterson with the reception. 3rd down and 4.
Third down situation where if you're Chaminade, might be able to get a bit aggressive here. Wouldn't be shocked to see this be another 4-down territory.
Flag on the play. Blades was the motion man outright. 2 officials threw the flag. They'll both be for the false start on Chaminade.
3rd down and 9.
All of a sudden, this becomes a little bit more of an obvious passing situation. See St. Anthony's sub in some of their pass rushers. Got Brendan Shaughnessy, who just came into the game. He's a guy up front who can cause some havoc off the edge for the Friars.
Third and 9 now from the 24-yard line. Carnevale gets the snap, looks left, steps up, throws left side, passes incomplete. Intended target was Sean Powers. That'll bring up 4th and long.
Nothing going there. Some really good coverage from Noah Allen, the senior from Central Islip for St. Anthony's. And all of a sudden, looks like they're going to line up for a bit of a longer field goal. Got Justin Jones out on the field, who's a talented guy, hit a 49-yarder earlier this year.
Jones lined up. Kick is blocked. And St. Anthony's makes yet another stand and keeps this game at 0-0.
Yeah, what a huge play. Back-to-back drives where St. Anthony is able to get a huge stop. And we'll see if that translates into something for their offense, who are backed up into their own end zone on that initial drive. You see right here coming through, just a big-time play. Looked like that was Ethan Bramoff who gets in there for St. Anthony's and blocks the kick. Bramoff, a guy who's only in his 2nd year of playing football, but he's a Virginia Lax commit, something that's a common theme between both these squads. A lot of guys going to play Division I lacrosse in a couple years, but great athletes throughout the fall as well.
St. Anthony's offense comes back out on the field, and it's a keeper for DSO. He's going to get to the 30-yard line and pick up about 5.
As I mentioned earlier, it's been a nice new wrinkle in DSO's game. Watched him a couple times out the gate this season. He's a little bit more hesitant to pull the ball down himself, but ran for over 100 yards against Iona Prep a couple weeks back, and since then been a steady diet of the run game from DSO as well.
There's the handoff. It's going to go for 2 yards so far. Xavier Balla's impact has been limited on these early drives.
Yeah, Chaminade really stacking the box here early. You saw Henry Kassouf, the cornerback, fly up and make that play, and makes you wonder, if you're calling plays for the Friars, do you try and stretch things out a little bit, maybe a little bit of a wide receiver tunnel screen, make him play more honest in the front 7.
They go back to Balla. He takes it up the middle, and this is a big chunk play for the star running back. He gets just short of midfield to the 48, and that buys St. Anthony's a fresh set of downs.
Yeah, right here, Balla's going to do a really good job right behind that left side of their O-line. Brody Hoffman, you see that wall. If you give him a crease, he can really make you pay. And right there, Luca Mastronardi is going to be feeling that one in the morning as Big 14 lowers his shoulder.
DSO is going to run this one for a first. Fake the screen off the rip, picks up 12 on the ground. Under a minute to play here in this first quarter, and St. Anthony's is moving the chains.
Yeah, St. Anthony's really relying on that rushing attack early. I don't know if we've seen DSO throw a pass thus far, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
They come out in the pistol here. Balla behind his quarterback. They throw right side. It's a screen play complete across the 30, breaking a tackle and being called out of bounds around the 14-yard line. What a run after the catch for Kevin Moore.
Yeah, Kevin Moore, a guy who obviously is going to be playing some big-time football at Delaware next year in the defensive backfield, but has really committed himself to being a more productive player on offense. There you see him get the ball in open field, and he's tiptoeing down the sideline. Fortunate for Flyers fans that one wasn't for 6.
This carry will be taken up the middle for maybe a yard or maybe 2-3 yards. Not much, though, depending on the spot.
They do love to get Xavier Balla going early. He's a guy who kind of just wears out defenses as we finish up this first quarter. A lot of fun.
That takes us to the end of the quarter. Shutout both ways here. 2nd and 5 is the situation from the 12-yard line when we come back for St. Anthony's as they look to score, but they block a kick, and they made some big plays defensively and on special teams to make sure Chaminade has a big 0 after the first 12 minutes. We'll be back after the break here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Hi, I'm Katie Ledecky. As an Olympic athlete, you might think staying healthy is easy for me. Truth is, we all face challenges. Keeping the right mindset is how we achieve our best personal performance. At Catholic Health, the same focus on wellness and prevention that I follow every day is the way they think too. That's why I'm teaming up with Catholic Health to help make healthcare even more positive, proactive, and personal for every person across Long Island. Long live you, and long live Long Island.
Back live from Gold Star Stadium here at Chaminade High School. We appreciate you joining us this afternoon on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Rivalry Saturday here at Varsity Media. A huge public school game going on right now. Massapequa and Farmingdale, as big as it gets in public school football. You can also check that out right here on Varsity Media. But we have a huge Catholic school game, the biggest rivalry the league has to offer. St. Anthony's looking to strike first on this drive. It's 2nd and 5 from the 12-yard line. Yeso throws right side. Pass is caught. Flag on the play. They'll take it down to the 4-yard line.
That one was Johnny Russo, a guy who had a big-time game last week against Cardinal Hayes, had his first touchdown of the year. Looks like this one's coming back.
It's going to be a hold on the Friars.
Friars' offensive line been up and down this year. Really a lot of youth and inexperience up there. They've been getting better every week, but you're relying on guys like Brody Hoffman and Justin Joseph up there who are only sophomores. And this is really the biggest situation they've been in their young careers. Joseph, a guy 6'5", 290, only 14 years old. Expect to see him flying up the recruiting rankings over the course of the next couple years.
2nd down and 15. We're waiting a moment here as the officials confer. Kevin Dolan, a former Chaminade coach, told me once, another guy that we have here on the Varsity Media Sports Network, that these penalties in big games, he never liked to look at them as kids doing something wrong. He just says they're so eager to make these plays in these big spots, especially those false starts, the encroachments. But he says you just got to try and get it out of them pretty early in the first half and make sure you can clean up the game.
Without a doubt, especially when there's a thin margin for error. Both these teams so evenly matched.
Yeso throws a screen left side. Balla has it, breaks a tackle, gets taken down at the 16-yard line. That'll bring up 3rd and manageable for St. Anthony's.
Yeah, here you get a glimpse into what makes Balla so special as he breaks that initial tackle from Anthony Trapani. At 2:15, just a load coming out of the backfield for St. Anthony's.
3rd down and 9.
Bala hasn't been used too much in the receiving game this year, but you know he's capable of it when they want to go there. But oftentimes it's a lot easier to hand the rock to him. Here's a rollout right, throwing for the end zone. Ball is caught. Touchdown, St. Anthony's. Johnny Russo gets the Friars on the board.
Johnny Russo, the senior leader for this St. Anthony's receiver corps, goes up and makes a huge play right here. He had a big touchdown last week and follows it up with as big of a score as you'll see. Right there, Diesso, a bit ill-advised, throws across his body to the middle of the field, but Russo goes up over the Chaminade defender, looked like Ben Bakirs, and makes a huge play to give St. Anthony's the early lead.
That's one where Coach Minucci has to hold his breath when the ball's let go. Diesso, ill-advised, makes the play, so Coach is happy. This extra point gets tipped and misses wide, so this game stays at 6-0.
Yeah, really nice play there by Henry Kassouf with the blocked kick. Second block we've seen, one for either team so far. And in a game that we kind of feel like could come down to the final possession, these early miscues and big special teams plays could have a huge impact.
Once again, your score 6-0, 11:06 to play in the first half. Got to look at Coach Minucci, who is leading the Friars the last few years and understands the importance of this rivalry. He's done a great job with this program, which is one that has high expectations in a really tough league. This is year 7 now, graduated in 1999 from the school.
Yeah, Coach Minucci really trying to get St. Anthony's back to the dominance that they had for so many years under Rich Reichert. One fun storyline within this game is both Coach Minucci and Coach Claro for Chaminade both played at their respective programs and went on to the NFL. So as good a coaching as you'll see in New York high school football.
St. Anthony's will kick the ball away after scoring the game's first points. And it'll be a big return for Chaminade as they look to set up their offense once again. Dean Novolino kicks it off. It's going to be muffed at the 20-yard line. Now picked up and taken down immediately. Great coverage by the Friars.
Yeah, a bit of a miscue right there by Liam Trainer, who is a linebacker by trade. Right there, asked to return the kick, and fortunate to get back on that one, but Chaminade going to be working with some worse field position than they've seen thus far today.
They started the game just short of midfield. Then they started their second drive at the 20-yard line. They've yet to score. They suffered the blocked field goal. They got stuffed at the 1. But when you're getting stopped in those ways, you can't be too concerned just yet about the 0 on the scoreboard. They've been able to move the football. Anthony Trapani's been terrific. Big drive for Chaminade here, though.
Yeah, Chaminade making positive progress all day. Now you just got to turn it into some points.
Carnevale gives it for a broken tackle. McCoy Wallace now heading up the left sideline down at the 37. Big gain for the Flyers.
Yeah, McCoy Wallace, kind of part 3 of this 3-headed monster at running back for Chaminade. Shows you what he can do. He's a great athlete, another lacrosse kid who really dominates in the springtime for the Flyers, but right there, able to make the most after a broken tackle and get some good field position going.
Carnevale is going to give it again up the middle. Wallace gets taken down at the 46-yard line, about a yard and a half short of the first down marker.
Declan Miller, the center for Chaminade, really going to work. He's 6'3", 295 pounds, and has the most experience of anybody up front for the Flyers, doing a good job opening some holes up the middle.
Declan's older brother, Seamus, was a standout lineman here at Chaminade a few years back.
Good Irish family right there.
Oh, absolutely. Another handoff for Wallace. He'll get the first down.
Right there, he does get the first down, but not before he takes a price from John Drew, whose name we've called a few times out here thus far in this ball game.
Wallace, another one of those great lacrosse players in on these teams. These schools have such a rich history in that spring sport. And he's a great change of pace back for Blades and Trapani for the Chaminade offense, and we've seen it here. 3 carries. He's picked up 2 first downs.
Yeah, what a luxury to have fresh legs every drive of that running back position as the defense continues to wear down.
Carnevale throws right side. That pass is caught. It's going to get him to the 44-yard line in St. Anthony's territory. On the reception,
Looked like Nick Sweeney right there, the junior from Elmont. He's a guy who's really talented baseball and basketball player right there, gets the ball in the open field, able to get some positive yardage, set up a second and manageable, which really opens up this whole playbook for Chaminade. Really impressive, the bevy of different options that both these teams can bring to the table. 3 talented tight ends in Peterson, Foshi, and Sweeney for Chaminade.
Carnevale under center, gives it off to Aaron Blades, and they get bull rushed. How about the defensive front for Chaminade? Dave McHugh was in there along with a surplus of others.
Yeah, Robert Hommel does a really good job as well, number 19, of blowing this one up. Sets up a 3rd and 5 situation, and as Chaminade finds himself for the 3rd time this ball game in plus territory, they'd really love to get this conversion, because St. Anthony's on offense is the kind of team that'll make you pay.
3rd and 5 here, down 6-0 in the second quarter. Drop back, Carnevale looks left. He's got a roll now, and he's taken down. Ethan Bramoff, shot out of a cannon.
Ethan Bramoff having himself a day here already in this first half. We saw him with the block kick earlier. This time he just finds the seam in that Chaminade offensive front, and a huge sack to send them back into their own territory and get off the field. How about that, number 11?
Punt team is on for Chaminade, 4th and 16 from the 43-yard line.
Russo back to return, who had the big touchdown catch last time St. Anthony was on the field.
That punt nearly blocked. It's going to bounce at the 42-yard line, take a little bit of a roll for Chaminade, but only about 2 yards to 39. So St. Anthony's with some decent field position again to start this, and now trying to add to their already 1-score lead.
Without a doubt, last drive we saw them spreading the ball around, hitting up guys like Russo, Moore, and of course Xavier Bala. They love to have a balanced attack, really effective team on the ground, but also can spread you out if you start loading up the box.
DSO back out there with Bala behind him. Looks right, fires the screen. It's caught, taken for about 7 yards by Johnny Russo, just short of the first down.
Yeah, right there. That gain was opened up by a great block from number 8, Jax Prokop. He's a guy who contributes in the passing game, not only with his hands, but with his blocking. You see him shoving a Chaminade defender out of bounds. And that right there is so helpful because it can help spread out the defense for Chaminade and open up some lanes up the middle for Xavier Bala.
Again, right side, same play. They go to that screen. It's going to be enough for a first for Johnny Russo. They take it to midfield.
I love this right here. Just the same exact play call. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Once again, you get a great block from number 8 out there on the edge and a fresh set of downs for the Friars.
With all the attention on Bala almost all the time defensively, you understand the weapon in the backfield that just opens up so much. Having him back there as a decoy on some of those plays. Now Bala steps up to the right of his quarterback. They fake that screen, throw it up the sideline. That one is caught. Guess who? Jax Prokop gets his after 2 big blocks.
Love that one right there. They faked the same play that they had gone to 2 previous plays beforehand. And this time, big number 8 finds a seam down the sideline and keeps things moving forward.
Prokop gets a reward after laying 2 big blocks on the screen plays prior. Now they'll give to Bala, who runs hard into the heart of the defense down to the 30.
St. Anthony's set up every single play in the exact same manner on this drive so far. Showing screen. They went to that well twice early. Go down the field to Prokop, and this time show the same thing, but hand the ball off to Bala.
Yeah, so looks right back to Russo on the screen. This time, Chaminade was ready for it. 2 Flyers defenders were right in.
Yeah, right there. For Chaminade, you see Lucas Smith fly up and say, you fooled me once, you fooled me twice, you're not going to get me a third time. Number 9, so talented out there, the Tufts commit. Does a really good job at the open field tackle. He's a guy who's played a lot of D-line in his career, but also is talented and can perform well in space.
Timeout, St. Anthony's. It looked like some confusion for the offense.
And they know there's a big situation right here. Coach Minucci going to try and get his troops on the same page, but looking at 3rd and 10 in plus territory, they'd love nothing more than to extend the lead to 2 scores. And probably outside of field goal range, so a situation where you don't necessarily have to get the full 10 yards. If you can get this to a 4th and 1, 4th and 2, I bet you see St. Anthony's lead the offense out on the field.
Again, a 6-0 game, 6:01 to play. St. Anthony's is at the 33-yard line. It's a 3rd and 9, a long 9. And they had an easy time getting up the field, but this is where both defenses have really made their stands today. A lot of bend, don't break in this first half defensively. We'll see what St. Anthony's goes with.
Yeah, trips out to the left. A couple of talented guys out there, and Moore and Mancaruso.
It's a drop back. This screen play for Mancaruso. He takes it all the way to the left sideline till he runs out of room. They're about 2 yards short of the marker. Pat, I'd say this is 4-down territory here.
Absolutely. You know, you've had a good kicking game all year long. It's been a good job by Dean Novellino, but this is probably just outside of his comfortable range, looking at about a 42-yarder. So unsurprising with the way that their offensive line has played to see the offense still out on the field.
This game has already seen 2 blocked kicks as well. I'm sure that doesn't give Coach Minucci much added confidence. Handoff, Balla makes a man miss. Balla now is going to get the first down, and inside the red zone go the Friars.
This is such a good job. One of the ways that Xavier Balla distinguishes himself as a great running back is that patient kind of running. Makes Trapani miss, able to get things going downfield, another cut uphill, and all of a sudden another 10 yards and a fresh set of downs for the Friars.
Play action, roll left. It's going to be a tuck and run heading for the end zone and in. Anthony Diesso uses his legs to put St. Anthony's up by 2 touchdowns.
I love this play fake right here. You fake the handoff to Balla, get the entire defense flowing to that side of the field. All of a sudden, Diesso sees a lane, and he can really make you pay. Just a sophomore, but as fast as they come, and he scampers in to extend this lead to 2 scores.
12-0 now the score as the kicking team comes on looking to make it a 13-0 game, and the Chaminade crowd have been quieted here with 5:16 to go. They're actually going to go for 2 here.
See.
Right out of the Wildcat, they give to Balla. He stiff arms, reverses it the other way. Balla trying to make something happen. Great job by the Flyers.
And you see the impact of that early missed PAT for St. Anthony's, forced to go for 2 in that situation. And all of a sudden, what could have been a 14-0 lead is just 12-0, leaving Chaminade an opening in this game.
Take a quick break here. 12-0 the score, 5:16 to play. We'll see how Chaminade responds to St. Anthony's early 2-touchdown lead on the other side. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Are you a local business looking for new and creative ways to promote your company? Varsity Media offers affordable rates that can get your message across to a demographic of 18 to 54 years of age. Our follower base across social media is 75,000 strong, and our viewership numbers per game are in the thousands. Don't blow your advertising budget on old staples like TV and radio media. Reach out to Varsity Media to get the best bang for your buck.
12-0 the score here from Chaminade High School. St. Anthony's ahead in this latest installment of what is a great Long Island football rivalry. To kick this off, Dean Novellino for St. Anthony's. He sends a short one to the 30-yard line. It'll be fair caught, taken down immediately for Chaminade. I don't think that Robert Fauci wanted much part in the kick return game.
Yeah, you know, they're playing it safe out there for that kickoff unit for St. Anthony's. Has worked out pretty well for them thus far. And now forcing Chaminade to drive 70 yards, try and punch one in and answer for a couple great drives back-to-back from St. Anthony's, I know.
Chaminade's had 2 of 3 really good drives be shut down either on the blocked field goal attempt or getting stuffed at the 1-yard line. Now they really need one down 12-0. You don't want to give this St. Anthony's offense a chance to add. Drop back, rolling right. This throw, broken up. Great coverage for St. Anthony's on the breakup, Ethan Bramoff.
Ethan Bramoff just continues to have himself a day. A block kick, a sack, and now a great PBU. This is a tough one. Ball floats in the air. Wiles is looking in the direction of Foshi, and just no chance there. DOA.
Bramoff has had his stamp all over this game early in the first half. A couple tackles for loss. Big pass breakup there. Chaminade will go back to the drawing board here on 2nd and 10 from their own 31-yard line. Hand off to Blades. He has a lane, then gets taken down at the line of scrimmage. Another great defensive play for the Friars.
Anthony Sanchez, once again, leading tackler from that cornerback position, just flies up off the edge and just nowhere to go for Aaron Blades.
Blades with the carry.
You know, Kevin, one thing that surprised me a little bit is early on it was a steady diet of Anthony Trapani for this Flyers offense. We haven't seen him on the field this last couple of drives. Number 22, I know, is working hard on D, probably catching his breath right now, but we might need to think about getting him some more reps on O, the way things have been going.
Carnevale in the shotgun, Blades to his left. Quarterback drops back. He's pressured and taken down. The ball came out. I think Chaminade jumped back on it. A host of Friars defensive linemen entered the backfield there.
Yeah, John Drew is going to fly up from the linebacker position. He's the first one to get there. And then a little bit of cleanup duty from DJ Garcia. You see McHugh fly over the top at the end there. And that's the kind of defense that St. Anthony's prides himself on. Everybody rallying to the ball and just nowhere to go for Carnevale.
Punt team is back out there for Chaminade. Second time today.
Looks like it's going to be Jones once again back there. Solid kick. St. Anthony's going to be starting the ball on their own 40-yard line.
Another good field position to start the drive for St. Anthony's, who already have a 12-0 lead. They've really controlled the first half of this game now, especially in the second quarter.
Yeah, and Kevin, right here, an opportunity to double up, right? If they're able to drive down, punch one in before halftime, they also elected to defer opening up this game, so they'll be receiving the ball at the beginning of the third quarter. I'm sure Joe Minucci would love nothing more than to get some further distance for his team.
Screen pass right side, splitting defenders and getting just short of the first down for St. Anthony's was once again Johnny Russo.
And I know I'm going to sound like a broken record here, but that Russo combo with the Pro Cop block out on the edge, you see that pancake for number 8 is just a thing of beauty right there. And this has been something that St. Anthony's has loved doing all year long, working these screen passes as people start to bite on Xavier Bala.
QB draw taken right up the middle by DSO will get him to midfield, and I think maybe, yes, just enough for a first down.
DSO with the carry.
St. Anthony's taking their time here on this drive. Still have their timeouts in the pocket of Joe Minucci. Just under 3 minutes left to go in this first half.
Looking left, throwing left. That one's caught. Good spin move, a second spin move, a third spin move down to the 39-yard line. Anthony Mancaruso puts on the spin cycle.
This is beautiful right here from Mancaruso. You get the triple spin from number 3. 1 right there, 2 off the block of Moore, and a 3rd off the block of Prokop. Get a new set of downs
And Caruso with the
And right now the Friars offense just moving like a well-oiled machine.
2.5 minutes to play, 2:37 to be exact. In the second quarter, St. Anthony's looking to take a potential 3-score lead into the break. Deep ball connected, in for the touchdown.
Kevin Moore right there. How about that for the senior? He makes a living on defense. He can still beat you on offense, and right there, he gets a step. You'll see a bit of a high snap, but D'Esso handles it, and he's just going to have some perfect touch on this ball. Hits his receiver Moore in stride, and Moore able to break that tackle right there to punch it in for 6. Extend this to 3 scores here early at Gold Star Stadium.
Now trying for the extra point. It'll be St. Anthony's, where this has been an area that's been very difficult for anyone to convert today, but this one will go through. So finally a kick is successful. Dean Novellino is the one who gets it done. And now commanding 19-0 lead on the road against your rival in the first half of play. We'll take a quick timeout. When we come back, we'll get the conclusion of the first half as the Chaminade offense looks to get on the board. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on the Varsity Media Sports Network. 19-0 the score. St. Anthony on top. Pat, from this second quarter, they've put in all 19 points. What have you seen from St. Anthony's all around, both sides of the ball, that's made this such a successful 12 minutes?
Well, the strength of this St. Anthony's offense all year long has been their ability to spread out the ball. Got a bevy of different weapons. So Chaminade biting early on every time Bala was touching it. All of a sudden you start mixing in D'Esso in the run game, Moore and Russo in the passing game, and that has been a huge recipe for success as they've pushed down on the gas and haven't let up here in the second. A lot of pressure now all of a sudden shifts over to Sean Carnevale and the Chaminade offense. You feel like you almost need to come away with a score here before halftime if you're going to keep yourself in this ball game.
2:21 to play, and it's such an important drive because St. Anthony's gets that ball back after the break. The last thing you need is to go down 4 scores in the third quarter. You don't want to give them the opportunity to make that a reality.
Without a doubt. If I'm calling up plays for Chaminade right now, we saw so much success from Anthony Trapani on that opening drive. I think you got to figure out a way to get number 22 the ball and see if St. Anthony's can stop him on D.
Novellino will kick off for St. Anthony's. This one travels to the 25-yard line where it's played. The return will only get out to the 32. Great coverage again by the Friars, who are just winning it in all 3 phases.
Just what the doctor ordered for Flyers fans. Looks like Trapani is re-entering this game on the offensive side of the ball. You don't have a ton of time to work with, but still got a couple timeouts here in this first half. So I think you still can run the ball and see if St. Anthony's can stop you, especially when you're gaining 8 to 10 yards a clip whenever number 22's number has been dialed.
Trapani had the incredible opening drive, a really good second drive, and we haven't seen him much at all offensively. Still plays the defensive side of the ball, but now back in at running back. They go play action, throw right side. A little check down is going to be complete, easy reception, and some yards for Henry Peterson.
Yeah, no 2-minute warning here, so that clock's going to continue to run. Little slip screen over to Peterson, picks up about 5. And Chaminade huddling right now. Time to pick up the pace on offense, Only minute 50 left to go in this half. They got to pick up some yardage and quick.
Carnevale with Trapani to his right, drops back. He's under pressure again. He's been sacked a few times already today. He's going to take this one on his own, though, and out of bounds. They'll say at the 47-yard line.
This is a really good job by Carnevale a whole bevy of rushers for St. Anthony's, including Shaughnessy in the pursuit, but able to use his legs. And he's a guy, although we haven't seen him run the ball much today, is averaging about 6 yards a carry thus far this season. So another wrinkle in number 12's game that they'd love to tap into to get things moving in the right direction.
A minute and a half to go now. Carnevale drops back, looks right, and it's incomplete. Little miscommunication there. Intended target was Sean Powers.
Yeah, right there, him and Powers just a little bit off. Powers, a guy who has been very successful, and they've been able to get him the ball this year. Last week, had 5 catches and 88 yards and a loss versus Iona Prep. Also scored the lone touchdown for the Chaminade offense in that game.
Minute 29 to play now after the incompletion. The clock is not with Chaminade, but they still have their timeouts, and that's enough to potentially go down the field here. Throw out right, Trapani makes a great move to cut it back. He's got room running down the middle of the field. Trapani with daylight gets across the 35, inside the 30, down at the 27-yard line, and that's what this kid can do with the ball.
I've been saying all second quarter, when are you going to dial up number 22? That's his first touch on offense since early in the first, and absolutely makes St. Anthony's pay. If it weren't for a shoestring tackle by Moore out there on the edge, 22 had the end zone in his sights, but a huge play right here. Chaminade going to take the timeout to compose themselves, but a huge opportunity as they get into plus territory to try and get something in before halftime.
Minute 15 to play now in this 19-0 game. And it's the timeout, first one used today by head coach Tom Claro. Claro is in his second season, graduated Chaminade 1992, and he won his first career game as Chaminade head coach at St. Anthony's last season, looking to try and pick up 2 in a row, but they have an uphill battle.
Yeah, Tom Claro, a guy who's coached a lot of good football in this league. Former offensive line coach at Stepanak, also at Xavier. Also brings some coaching experience at Division I level, coached offensive line at Fordham back in the day. So it's really no mystery why you see such a good OL for Chaminade. Now it's really time to use it with a minute 15 here to get something going on offense before half.
Under center, it's Carnevale. Now that minute 15 doesn't seem like so much of a battle against the clock. Carnevale steps up looking to throw, has his man just over the fingertips of Sean Powers. Would have been a touchdown, but it's an incompletion and just a game of inches right there.
Yeah, we've seen a few balls sail on Carnevale here today. You see that pressure off the edge. Looks like it was Drew coming up there, forced him to step up in the pocket, and just enough duress to get him to sail this ball and miss a wide open target in Sean Powers.
Minute 8 to play now. Chaminade looking for their first points of this game at home, trying to get this crowd back into it. Carnevale, shotgun with Trapani to his left. Scans the field, finds his man, first down and more, breaking a tackle and getting taken down was, I believe, Michael Genovese.
Genovese, just a junior, has been a big contributor in that receiving core for Chaminade all year long. This time around, perfectly delivered ball, hits him in stride, and sets up a 1st and goal.
60 seconds on the dot remain in this first half. It's first and goal from just inside the 10.
Kevin, going into this game, we talked about the importance of the red zone for Chaminade, but it's obvious here. You really got to punch something in. They're not going to be happy with 3. It's got to be 6 if you're a Flyers fan. But St. Anthony's proven a stone wall and a bit of a bend-don't-break capacity here today.
Trapani takes it to the 5-yard line. We'll get a timeout for Chaminade. Coach Claro wants to stop the clock with 40 seconds to go. Take a quick break. We'll step out. Last 40 seconds of play on the other side here. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Now's your chance to score a touchdown with Varsity Media's ISO video. Video footage that focuses on your athlete only. Perfect for recruiting reels. Spots are limited, so reach out today. Email jeff@varsitymedia.net to book your next ISO video with Varsity Media.
40 seconds left to play in this first half. 19-0 the score. It's been all St. Anthony's in this second quarter, but now Chaminade finally getting themselves back inside the 10-yard line. Pat, what's worked for them on this drive?
Well, you know, what's worked for them all day on offense is getting the ball into number 22, Anthony Trapani's hands. The guy going into this game who was averaging close to 8 yards a carry, and St. Anthony's just hasn't had a solution for him. So you saw the big screen play where he picks up about 35, and then they hit up Genovese over the middle to set up this end goal situation.
From the 5-yard line, Chaminade looking to punch in, play action, throw over the top, tipped and incomplete. First it was nearly intercepted, then it was nearly caught, then it was broken up. The intended target, Hank Peterson.
Yeah, there's a really good job by Anthony Sanchez, who's played some physicality all day, just staying with that ball and knocking it down before Peterson is able to make the miraculous catch at the back of the end zone.
3rd and goal now from the 5. 35 seconds left to play in the first half. They trail by 3 scores, 19-0.
Got that wide side of the field to the right of Carnevale. I'd give him a little bit of a run-pass option here. See if we can dial up one of those receivers, but also keep the run alive.
Looks left for Trapani. It's caught, but he's going to be shut down and out of bounds at the 4-yard line.
Once again, Sanchez in on this tackle. And you understand what he's thinking. Get the ball into the hands of my best offensive weapon. The ball just a little bit low. Trapani's got to reach out for it, and by that time, just nowhere to go with both Sanchez as well as Dave McHugh flying up there for the Friars.
Field goal unit comes out with 24 seconds to play. Chaminade just hoping to get on the board now.
This is a big field goal here. You make it, all of a sudden it's a 2-score game, down 16 going into half.
It's going to be a jump somewhere along the defense.
And deja vu all over again. Last time we saw Chaminade get stopped going in on 4th down, that opening drive. They had initially lined up for a field goal and then kind of recalibrated after a St. Anthony's encroachment. Here they elect to keep the kicking unit on the field.
Coach Claro hardly hesitated before telling them to stay out there, so looking to just get on the board. The kick is up and through. So the first points of the game come from Justin Jones for Chaminade. They still trail 19-3, but Pat, you hit it on the head. Now a 2-score game. It's a very different vibe than if you were to go back in 19-0.
Absolutely. You know, you want to get on that scoreboard. Now all of a sudden you kind of shift the onus onto your defense. If you're Chaminade, hey, get us a stop here. You know, 19 seconds left, so probably not too much worries. But if they're able to stop St. Anthony's out the gate, you've been able to do some great things on the offensive side of the ball. Got to feel good about your ability to move things along and claw yourself back into this game.
Take a look at the last 5 meetings between these two teams. Last year it was Chaminade getting the better of St. Anthony's 31-28. Before that, St. Anthony's in 23, St. Anthony's in 22, St. Anthony's again before that, the playoffs in 22 in the regular season, and then back in 21, St. Anthony's won that. It's really been all Friars the last few years, but Chaminade's trying to build a little streak now.
Yeah, Kevin, this has been a one-sided rivalry for a long time until 2024. Chaminade hadn't beaten the Friars since they won the AAA division back in 2012. So don't think that these guys aren't thinking about that all the time. Nothing hurts worse than consistently losing to your rivals. Now they're on the better side of things, owning the most recent matchup. But today, been tough going for the Flyers.
19 seconds on the clock as the Chaminade kicking team comes out. Really important kick here because the highest probability play for St. Anthony scoring the rest of this half is probably on the kickoff. Squib kick taken at the 8-yard line by Johnny Russo. He'll return it out to the 19, and that'll probably put this half on ice with 10 seconds to go.
If you're Coach Joe Minucci, got to feel good about the performance of your team. Your defense has been leaky at times, but has really made stops when they've needed to. And then on the offensive side of the ball, after a rough opening drive, it's really been all Friars. That combo, Diesso, Bala, Russo, and Moore really doing a great job. Some good execution, limiting the penalties. and they're going to be happy to own a 16-point lead as they kneel the ball to go into half.
So they take the knee, not before putting up 19 points in this second quarter. St. Anthony's is on top by 16 points. And the last one, courtesy of the do-it-all star receiver, Kevin Moore.
Yeah, Kevin Moore, just such a talented athlete out there. And he's pumped up as he looks his Friar faithful here in Mineola to go up by 3 scores at that point.
This game far from over. On the other side, 24 more minutes of football coming up between St. Anthony's and Chaminade right here from Gold Star Field on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
What's up, this is Sean Lights Out Merriman, former Charger and Bill, and you're watching Varsity Media.
Help keep Varsity Media's broadcasts free on YouTube by considering an advertising sponsorship. Our coverage of local games helps local businesses get visibility in the community. To learn more about our sponsorship packages and rates, email Ben at varsitymedia.net.
Long live the morning routine. Long live friendly competition. Long live cozy nights at home. And long live healthcare that works with your life. Access to great doctors, simple mobile app, convenient locations across Long Island? Absolutely. You have options, but at Catholic Health, we'd like to remind you to choose you first, because we did too. Long live you, and long live Long Island.
You've seen the dedication, the long hours, the early mornings, the sacrifice. You know your athlete has what it takes, but how do you make sure the right people see it? The recruiting process isn't easy. Coaches are flooded with highlights, but how do you stand out in the crowd? At Varsity Media, we specialize in creating game-changing ISO videos, high-definition, athlete-focused footage that highlights exactly what college recruiters want to see. With our up-close ISO video, we capture your athlete's key moments. No more wide angles showing other players. This is just your athlete's pure, raw talent. This is more than a video. This is the opportunity your athlete deserves. Give your athlete the edge they need. Make the right impression with Varsity Media's ISO video service. The future starts now.
Hey parents, coaches, and players. Ever wonder what makes Varsity Media stand out as the tri-state leader in sports live streaming and videography?
If you're looking to optimize your sporting event, look no further than Varsity Media's coverage. Since working with them over the course of the past 4 years through the Elite 5 New York City Football Showcase, their coverage has helped take us to the top.
Varsity Media does an unbelievable job in terms of the broadcast, backgrounds on kids, do a great job in exposure from top to bottom. I couldn't really say anything negative. It's been a great couple of years that we've been working together, and it's just fantastic.
Well, I'll tell you, the fact that you guys are here has helped grow it, really. I mean, Varsity Media has been a good partner with us now for the last couple of years. That brings this game to a much broader audience.
The level of detail and that you go to, I mean, obviously the announcers, the camera angles, the slow motions, I mean, you feel like it's being covered by, ESPN.
If you'd like to book with Varsity Media, reach out at 516-403-2050 or email Ben at varsitymedia.net. For the latest news in high school sports, be sure to check out varsitymedia.net or follow us on social media at Varsity Media.
Now is a great time to book a sportscast with Varsity Media. What sets our sportscast apart isn't just the quality of our production, it's the knowledge, passion, and professionalism that our announcers bring to every game.
It's Merrill. Oh, look at a fake by Merrill. There's the spin again. Gary Merrill is not human. Touchdown, St. Anthony. Profeta! 1-0, Garden City.
Our commentators research athletes and highlight storylines that matter to your communities. Our approach creates a broadcast experience that not only informs, but elevates the athletes, giving the kind of recognition usually reserved for professional levels. Varsity Media's announcers make sure that every athlete has their moment. So book a Varsity Media Sportscast today, and let's get your team the recognition it deserves.
High school sports fans, Varsity Media is the exclusive live stream partner of Nassau County Championships. To live stream fall, winter, and spring championship events, head to varsitymediapass.com to order. Now accessible on smart TVs. Varsity Media is your home for the Nassau County Championships.
Now's your chance to score a touchdown with Varsity Media's ISO video. Video footage that focuses on your athlete only. Perfect for recruiting reels. Spots are limited, so reach out today. Email jeff@varsitymedia.net to book your next ISO video with Varsity Media. Parents, your support means everything to your athletes and to us at Varsity Media. To help us continue bringing you the best YouTube coverage of high school sports on Long Island, we invite business owners to consider a sponsorship on our broadcasts. If you own a business, consider a sponsorship for your athlete's team. It's a great way to show support, gain visibility, and keep the coverage going strong. Join us in making a difference. Contact Varsity Media today to learn more about broadcast sponsorship opportunities by emailing ben@varsitymedia.net.
For all the latest Varsity Media updates, including our game schedules, be sure to follow us on social media at Varsity Media, the home for New York high school sports. Hey parents, coaches, and players, ever wonder what makes Varsity Media stand out as the tri-state leader in sports live streaming and videography?
Well, I've been working with Varsity Media for, 14 years. When we have video needs, whether that be a game, whether that be a practice, whether it be social media, it's nice to know that somebody understands what we're looking for without asking for it.
We started working with Varsity Media back in 2021, and since then they've been an absolute game changer, putting our event on the map. Varsity Media couldn't be a better partner, and if you're looking to optimize your event, I couldn't recommend them anymore.
It's been great for us. You know, the kids really get excited when they know that Varsity Media is going to be here. Not just what's happening on the football field, but all the excitement that's around it. It really boosts the environment here, and everybody gets really excited for what's going on.
Varsity Media is reliable, professional, and their quality work is fantastic. It's like watching ESPN. The announcers are unreal, really do a great job of speaking to the coaches to get the knowledge of the players, the season, what's going on with the team. There is nothing better than Varsity Media doing a live broadcast.
If you'd like to book with Varsity Media, reach out at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net. Are you a local business looking for new and creative ways to promote your company? Varsity Media offers affordable rates that can get your message across to a demographic of 18 to 54 years of age. Our follower base across social media is 75,000 strong, and our viewership numbers per game are in the thousands. Don't blow your advertising budget on old staples like TV and radio media. Reach out to Varsity Media to get the best bang for your buck. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for upcoming schedules and content, and on social media at Varsity Media.
back live from Chaminade High School at Gold Star Field, where the class of 1975 is celebrating their alumni weekend, and it's just a gorgeous afternoon for everybody involved on the beautiful terrace up there over the Chaminade Field. We appreciate you joining us and sticking with us here on the Varsity Media Sports Network for second half action. I'm Kevin Bunk, joined by Pat Godfrey. 19-3 is the score. St. Anthony's is up in this game. They dominated that second quarter. What did they do right?
They did a great job spreading the ball out. One of the benefits of coaching for St. Anthony's is just the bevy of different talented options that you always have on a year-to-year basis. So this year, the right recipe seems to be some combo of Xavier Bala, Kevin Moore, as well as Johnny Russo. And those guys really made a huge impact early on in this game.
And you didn't even see much of the usual from Xavier Bala. A lot of defensive plays being made. St. Anthony's really putting in this team effort. Bala, of course, still contributing where he's been asked, but around him, it's been a stellar effort.
Yeah, huge block kick from Ethan Bramoff. Right there, you see DeSo using his legs. He's a guy with a great arm, but also fast and open space. And then a perfect throw from DeSo to Kevin Moore out there on the edge. Fortunate for Chaminade that you're able to finish off that half with the Jones field goal to pull this to a 2-score game, but going to be of the utmost importance that they're able to get a stop here on this opening possession for St. Anthony's if they hope to claw back into this one.
What's the message from Tom Claro to his team after going down by 2 scores in that first half? You come out of the break, you're giving the ball away at home. How do you keep the team level-headed here and try and fight this uphill battle?
I think you're trying to give these guys some confidence. You know, on the offensive side of the ball, we saw a couple of really nice drives. The issue was converting that into points, specifically touchdowns. But I think you say, hey, guys, we can move the ball against this team. I believe our defense can get some stops. So we're a stop and a touchdown away from a 1-touchdown game. So let's make something happen. Dig down deep. These rivalry games, there's always a key mistake, a big play that kind of shifts the momentum. And let's go out there and let's punch them in the mouth to open up this third quarter and see what happens.
For the Flyers, Anthony Trapani was the real eye-popper offensively, but he had the first 2 drives, then a gap in his play time offensively. He comes back for that last 2-minute drill and moves them right down the field with 3 touches. How much should we expect to see from him in this second half?
I think it's got to be a steady diet of Trapani. Listen, I know it's a luxury if you're calling plays for Chaminade to be able to bounce back and forth between Aaron Blades, Trapani, as well as McCoy Wallace. We saw all 3 of those guys playing running back in that first half, but Trapani's really been the difference maker all year long. He's averaging around 8 yards a carry. He's a guy who's absolutely electric with the ball in his hands, and we saw in that final drive a screen pass. He breaks a couple tackles and busts one open for around 30 yards. He's a guy who absolutely needs to be prominently featured on offense for Chaminade if they hope to claw back into this one against a St. Anthony's team that loves to press down on the gas like we saw last week against Cardinal Hayes and really distance themselves from the competition.
One of the themes of this game, St. Anthony's defensively, has been getting after the quarterback, getting into the offensive backfield for Chaminade. What's the message? You're a former offensive lineman together coming in as a group this second half. You probably didn't have the first half you want. This is a real stout offensive line at Chaminade, as Tom Claro always has. How do you bounce back and try to protect the quarterback and really impact this game in the second half?
I think you tell these guys, listen, when we're running the ball, we're opening up big-time lanes for our running backs. We're going to get back to basics. I don't think you need to press the ball in the passing game too much. Really, running has been the recipe for success early on for the Flyers. So I think you just say, hey, guys, we got to do what we do best. You got a lot of experience up front. You got 4 seniors as well as the junior, Tom Claro Jr., up there. So these guys have been called upon in big moments throughout their career. This should be nothing new for them. And I think you say, hey, guys, I know it's a black and gold from St. Anthony's across of us, but if we do what we do best, we will be successful, and this game will be tight down the stretch.
One note on the Chaminade offensive line, we had Declan Miller in as the starting center. He's been kicked to right guard today. Christos Katrakazis, is at center. He missed some time with an injury. They slot him back in. It was a game day decision. Practiced most of the week, felt good to go. They get him back in. So a little bit of a different look than we had portrayed to you in the first half. They look to have a big second half of action. The Chaminade offense is going to need them. And right now, I think it's just about wiping the slate clean for this home team. You got to forget the first half, come out here, get a big stop, and then go from there.
Without a doubt, and nothing matters unless your defense can really buckle down and get a stop here to open up this third quarter. As we mentioned, going into halftime, St. Anthony's elected to defer following the coin toss, so they are going to start off with possession of this ball to open up the third. If you're Chaminade's defense and I'm calling plays, I'm looking at Lucas Smith, their most talented guy off the edge, the Tufts commit, the captain. Hey, can you make that big TFL, that big sack that brings the juice back to this defense and gives us the opportunity to go back on the offensive side of the ball and drive down the field like we just did to close out that second quarter.
Both teams getting ready to take the field here. A fresh 12 minutes have been put on the scoreboard. 16 points is the difference. 19-3, St. Anthony's on top after losing last year's rivalry game in week 1. 31-28 was the final. They've won for many years prior to this. They came in on a big win streak to 2024. It got snapped. Chaminade is hoping to make it 2 in a row here. Definitely going to be a tall task. They have a tough road ahead, but they have an opportunity to still do it. Only down 2 scores here. And a stop and a score, you feel like this is a completely different Saturday afternoon than what we just had a few minutes ago.
Yeah, field position can be the name of the game, so look to Justin Jones right here to try and pin St. Anthony's deep in their own territory. Also going to take a pretty strong effort from his kick coverage team when you got the likes of Kevin Moore and Johnny Russo who have burned you on the offensive side of the ball, looking to return this one for St. Anthony's.
Touchdown scores for St. Anthony's in that first half. Johnny Russo, Anthony Diesso, and Kevin Moore on the long ball. That got them to 19-3. They had a blocked extra point. They failed a 2-point conversion and also converted an extra point. Squib kick from Chaminade ends up being played by Moore at the 18-yard line. He's going to return it with some room now. Got a block, broke a tackle. Moore with daylight, got through the right side, and is going to be taken down, finally out of bounds at the 44-yard line.
And looks like a little bit of a late hit there out on the sideline as they finally wrestle Moore to the ground, but this is exactly what you're hoping to avoid if you were Chaminade, though there is a flag down on the play, so we'll see if this one's coming back. But really good job. You see that pro-cop block, springs it open for Kevin Moore. He's able to run through a couple of would-be tacklers, and then a little bit of extracurriculars going on at the end of this play. Looks like our officiating crew missed that one, but a lot of this is going to be coming back. Looks like a hold against St. Anthony's.
So a tough break for them, but still good starting field position. They get it at the 38-yard line. A huge drive both ways here. St. Anthony's can really put in an early dagger-like touchdown. If they can score, Chaminade can start to build back some momentum, get this crowd back on their side. If they can get a step, Diesso gives to Bala. Bala bounces it right, cuts it back, and he gets wrestled down and out at the 50-yard line.
And back-to-back plays where you see a late hit coming in from Chaminade. Fortunate for the Flyers that neither get called, but you see right there, Bala does a great job once he gets to the edge. Stiff arm.
Second down and 1.
And sets up a 2nd and 1 situation on this opening drive of the second half.
Such a big back at 6'1", 215, and he uses that stiff arm and his great length to really keep defenders at bay. Here's a screen play left side. Not much room, but it's going to get him a first down on the reception for St. Anthony's. It was Rory McDermott.
Yeah, there's a heads-up play from the sophomore who's prominently featured in their offense all year long. Knows exactly where the sticks are, so just lowers his shoulder and able to get that first down even though there wasn't much going out there on the edge.
One thing that's really stood out in that first half, especially in the second quarter, was the play calling for St. Anthony's. Really nice mix of play action, a lot of motion, the proper handoffs just to get it into Bala's hands, some good screen game early in that second quarter. We see them coming out in this third quarter with a similar look.
Yeah, Tripp's right. That wide receiver screen's been great all day long. Diesso looking deep.
Had time, ends up tucking it, runs for the first down and more. Diesso still going, cuts it back. 2 tacklers bring him down at the 24-yard line.
Right there, Anthony Diesso just says, pick your poison. Initially drops back, looking deep towards that Trips formation, but nothing going. Chaminade had dropped everybody, and they give him a little bit of an opening. Number 1 right here, able to make him pay, doing some dancing down the sideline. and chugging forward into Chaminade territory.
Dieso's done a great job with his legs today and in these last few weeks of the season. Fumbles that handoff. He takes off running and gets taken down at the 10-yard line. Bobbled it for a moment, but recovered it. And now another first down. Dieso again on the ground.
Yeah, right here, this mesh does a lot of work for him. He bobbles it at first, but everybody biting on Bala opens up a huge seam up the middle for Dieso, and all of a sudden you blink, and it's 1st and goal, St. Anthony's.
Flag, going to be a false start on the St. Anthony's offense. So they'll get backed up a bit.
First down and goal.
And St. Anthony's really has played a relatively clean game, especially considering the inexperience on their offensive line. But right there, a false start is going to set them back to the 15 as they look to 1st and goal.
Dieso gets it, gives it to Bala. Bala scanning, cuts it back, and not much room, but gets to the 11. Chipping away after that false start penalty.
Yeah, right there you just see the patience on display from Bala. So many guys just feel like they need to hit the hole 100 miles an hour, even when there's nothing there. There he gives Bryce Chanchuli the opportunity to build some space and sets up a 2nd and goal from the 11.
Play action, throw over the middle is caught and in for the touchdown for the 2nd time this drive. It's Rory McDermott on the reception.
Rory McDermott, a guy with some great size, big catch radius at 6'2", 200 pounds, just does a good job right here over the middle. Knows he's going to get hit, but stays in there and plows forward for another St. Anthony's touchdown. It's a 3rd receiver to which Anthony Dieso has thrown a touchdown in this game.
Big extra point here, looking to make it a 23-point lead. The kick is up and through. Dean Novellino puts it in.
Kevin, right now here at Gold Star Stadium, it's kind of a tale of two cities. To my right, I've got the black and gold faithful who made the trip from South Huntington, and they're having a joyous time. To my left, looking over that student section from Chaminade, who are sitting in a stunned silence.
After great juice to start this game and on that opening drive, it's been quiet ever since. Since the end of the first quarter, when it was 0-0, 26-3 is the score now. Big opening drive touchdown for St. Anthony's, and now I hate to be reactionary, but it feels like a must-score drive right now for Chaminade to get back into this.
Without a doubt, you know, we saw them build some positive momentum the last time they were out on the field, able to drive the ball down with about 3 minutes left in the second quarter and able to convert for a Jones field goal. But field goals aren't going to call you back into this game. You got to find the end zone and look for Carnevale to hit up a couple of his weapons, including Trapani as well as Peterson, and see if they can claw back into this game.
Novellino will kick this one away with a 26-3 lead, 9:41 to play in the third quarter. Chaminade's urgency will have to be through the roof on this offensive drive. This ball kicked to the 31-yard line, taking another 5 yards. Tough to bring down the big tight end, Robert Foshi, his second return on kickoff today.
Yeah, Bobby Foshi, just a young guy, only a 10th grader, but someone with a very bright future. His dad, a Chaminade alumni, played in the NFL. Georgia Tech grad, had a nice 6-year NFL career at the tight end position. And J.P. Foshi, now the tight ends coach for Chaminade, leading that three-headed monster of Peterson, Foshi, as well as Sweeney.
9.5 to play. Chaminade desperately needs to find the end zone. Handoff Trapani. He gives them a good chunk right away. It'll be enough for a first down. That's what's worked for him all evening.
Yeah, and if I'm John Gill, who's the offensive coordinator for Chaminade, I am going to 22 until they prove they can stop him. Right now he's got about 5 carries on the game. Every time he touches the ball, it seems like he's going for 10+. So I think that should just be the well that you go back to all second half long.
Another handoff, Trapani cuts it up to the 50-yard line.
And even that right there, there's nothing sexy about a 4-yard run on first down, but what it does for your playbook, staying on schedule, really is tremendous.
Trailing by 23 points. Chaminade not out of it yet, but this drive is all important in their comeback effort. Carnevale in the shotgun to his right. Trapani stays in. Motion man is Fashi. Handoff Trapani left side. Gets to the 47-yard line in St. Anthony's territory. It'll bring up third and about 5 yards.
Yeah, right there. Nice tackle from our player to watch on the defensive side of the ball for St. Anthony's, DJ Garcia. 6'2", 250 pounds out of Lindenhurst. He's the guy we saw with a half sack there in that first half, continuing the positive momentum from a huge game last week versus Cardinal Hayes.
One of those guys on a real linear trajectory this season, just continues to elevate his play on a weekly basis. Little bit of confusion for a moment. Carnevale motions receiver in, though, and now drops back. Runs up the middle, takes a hit, stays up, but he's going to be stopped just short of the marker.
This one's going to be close. Carnevale, the junior, knows exactly where the sticks are, what he needs to get to.
They'll give it to him.
Fights forward, able to get it. That's a huge first down right here on this drive. Even if you weren't able to pick that up, got to feel like from here on out, you're looking at 4-down territory for Chaminade. Going to have to be aggressive facing the 23-point deficit.
Approaching 7 minutes to go now in the third quarter. Carnevale gets the snap, drops back. A lot of pressure here, and he's brought down. Ball came out. Pile up. St. Anthony's thinks they have it. They do.
And what a play right here by Kevin Moore. They send him with that blitz off the edge. There were St. Anthony's fans who are calling for holding. Watch this right here. Trapani's going to pick him up initially. Feels like there's a little bit of a hold, but keeps fighting back to the ball. Carnevale holding it like a loaf of bread, and he's going to pop that one out to get the ball back for his offense. Huge play by the senior.
Has anybody impacted this game more than Kevin Moore? No pun intended.
I see what you did there.
Didn't try to do it. Did it after the fact.
All of a sudden, you look at that St. Anthony's backfield, a little bit of a new look here with Christian Bordeaux, the talented sophomore, subbed in.
Balla catches the screen left side and takes it for 6 yards.
There's a look that we saw last week when St. Anthony's had their homecoming against Cardinal Hayes. They subbed in Bordeaux, number 32, who's as talented a young guy as you're going to see in this league. But it also affords them the luxury to split out number 14, Xavier Balla, to that receiver position and let that big 215-pound body do some work in the screen game.
They go back to Balla. Far sideline, he's going to cut it inside, about 2 yards short of the sticks.
Balla with the reception. 3rd down and 2.
Just trying out other ways to get the ball in your top player's hands.
It is tough. Being Xavier Balla, you know that the defense is acutely aware of where you're at on the field at all times.
This handoff is going to be taken just short of the marker by about half a yard.
Interesting decision coming up here for Joe Minucci and this St. Anthony's staff. You're looking at a 4th and 1 type situation. The way your O-line's been playing, got to feel confident in their ability to pick up a big yard, but the last thing you want to do is leave an opening for Chaminade to claw back into this.
That last carry was for Christian Bordeaux. He's still in the backfield. Balla remains up on the top of your screen. They're just going to run it right up the middle and get it. Diesso continues to impact this game with his legs.
Yeah, Diesso does a really good job here running behind that right side of the offensive line. Justin Joseph with a good seal-off block, big number 78. You see finishing there, and Diesso knows where he needs to get. Able to convert for a new set of downs.
Clock continues to tick here. Under 5:15 to play in the third quarter.
Understandably, no sense of urgency on offense for St. Anthony's.
DSO gives right side to Bordeaux, tries to cut it back up the middle, runs into a blockade of red jerseys. That'll go nowhere.
Yeah, there's a stone wall right there led by Matt Arias, who's one of the best defensive linemen for Chaminade. Tom Claro thinks he might be one of the best defensive linemen in the entire league. And right there from that defensive tackle spot, shutting things down.
Again, it's Bordeaux in the backfield. On the option play, DSO keeps it, and once again, the St. Anthony's run will be stopped at the line of scrimmage. It brings up 3rd and long.
Yeah, once again, that was Matt Arias, who's playing with some purpose out here in this third quarter. He's only a junior, but he's a second-year starter for the Flyers defense. And here on 3rd down, really got to sell out, give it all you got. If you're playing defensive line, try and get some pressure up in the face of DSO. And if I were calling the D, I got a spy on number 1, who's burned you so many times with his legs thus far in this game.
Hand off left side, Bala gets wrapped up. Flags fly in, probably an easy face mask call there.
Yeah, and that's really the last thing you want. You got this play stopped in the backfield, but just an unfortunate mistake there from Chaminade is going to give a fresh set of downs to St. Anthony's, keep this drive moving forward in a spot where you really felt like you needed to get off the field and quick.
And the clock just continues to run down on Chaminade in this game. Even at the minimum, those 2 plays to start that set of downs, when you get stopped at the line of scrimmage, you burn off 35, 40 seconds of clock apiece. You feel great about that if you're Coach Minucci. Just continuing to do that with this 23-point lead.
1st down and 10.
Without a doubt. And the way that the Chaminade offense is constructed, you know, they really need to be a balanced attack to be successful. Carnevale is a capable signal caller, but not the kind of guy you want to ask to throw the ball every single down.
Hand off for Bala. He'll take it to the 20-yard line. More than half the distance to the 1st down marker.
And right here, they're just going to run behind Big Chanchuli, number 77, who has that great block to pop open that hole. Feels like forever that I've been watching Chanchuli's on the offensive line. First St. Anthony's, his brother Carson's now a junior up at Ithaca, going on 5 years in a row of starting offensive linemen for the Friars from that family. I want to know what were they feed them all those years? As a former O-lineman, if I have sons someday, by the grace of God, I'd love for them to play like number 77.
Hand off left side, Bala has a lane. Shoots the gap, still going, taking defenders into the end zone with him. There's a flag in the offensive backfield.
Looks like this one's going back, but that is some grown man football from Xavier Bala right there. Let you know why half the Big Ten and SEC is anxious to try and sign number 14. Looks like this one's coming back from a hold, but boy, what a play as he takes Liam Traynor on a ride into the end zone.
It's a hold for St. Anthony's. Their offense will stay out there, and it'll bring up 2nd down and 14. Ball will be spotted at the 30-yard line.
Got to be frustrating for Xavier Bala. He's so talented, but has had a tough time finding open space today. Finally able to break through with which would have been his 15th touchdown of the game, but instead a holding penalty, and that one's coming back.
Bala remains in the backfield, lined up to the left of DSO. DSO drops back, looks right, steps up now through pressure, and he's going to be wrapped up and brought down for the sack. They lose another 5 yards. Good job by the Chaminade defensive line to contain him.
Yeah, right here it's a senior Tom Jemison, number 52, who keeps fighting right there up against Justin Joseph. Able to pop off that one, and by the shoelaces bring down Anthony DSO for the sack.
3rd down and 19.
More time runs off the clock. We're down to 2:10 remaining in the third quarter.
Third and long situation. Kind of uncharted waters for St. Anthony's, who's been able, for the most part, to keep things moving on schedule offensively all day long.
DeSo's going to roll left, looking to throw, now just tucks it. Heads up field and knocked out of bounds at the 29-yard line.
Yeah, it's a really good block by Bordeaux, number 32, coming out of the backfield to give a little bit of an opening for DeSo. But now St. Anthony's finds themselves in kind of no man's land. You're just inside the Chaminade 30-yard line. This would be a long field goal, but you're still staring down a 4th and about 13. So it looks like Joe Minucci's going to keep his offense out on the field.
It's also a tough spot to just try and pin something inside the 10 from only the 30-yard line. So you don't really have much of an option here. But to go for it, 4th and 13, 23-point lead. And again, they continue to just run 40 seconds off the clock.
Chuck Menzer, the offensive coordinator for St. Anthony's, might have to go deep into his playbook. They're going to take a timeout to think this one over. But don't be surprised you see Kevin Moore get involved on this 4th down as St. Anthony's looks to convert yet another big situation.
Joe Minucci takes his first time out of the game here in the third quarter. St. Anthony's at the next level. You have Ian Strong at Rutgers, KJ Duff at Rutgers, Dante Torres, Harvard, Jaden Platt, William and Mary, Kenyon Miles, Villanova. A lot of these guys, all these guys, part of a state championship team here for the Friars.
Yeah, these are just a few of the many talented guys you've seen come through South Huntington over the years. Ian Strong and KJ Duff are having huge years, respectively, in Piscataway. Every time you turn on that Greg Schiano team, it tends to be a lot of fun seeing those two big guys go up and pluck the ball out of the air. Dante Torres having a nice career for himself at Harvard. Platt and Miles, a couple of fun guys having a blast in the CAA right now. But that's really what St. Anthony's is known for, producing top-end talent for Long Island. And a few of those guys you're going to be seeing on Sundays before too long.
Absolutely. These programs just pump out elite talent all over the college football world. Many of them go on to play beyond, just like both of these coaches were able to do. Under a minute to play now in the third quarter, 59 seconds to go. 4th and 13, obviously a must-stop for Chaminade. You bring 5, throw downfield. Kevin Moore almost pulled it in. A great pass breakup for Chaminade will negate another potential touchdown. Shea Sykes.
Yeah, right here, there's a great ball coming from Anthony DeSo. Puts it exactly where it needs to be for Moore. And 9 times out of 10, number 2's coming down with that one. Fortunately for the Flyers D, Sykes able to break that up and give their offense yet another opportunity.
It's that time for the offense where you're going to have to score on the remainder of your drives, trailing by 23 points in this game. Just under 13 total minutes to go in this contest. Urgency has to be the highest it's been all afternoon for Chaminade. Carnevale play action, throws downfield over the head of his intended target, Sean Powers.
And right there, he takes a huge hit from number 96, Eli Sajor, the senior from East Islip, who wasn't playing a ton early on in this season, but got a few opportunities, made the absolute most of it, and has factored regularly into that defensive front. Number 96 doing a good job bringing the pressure and forcing the errant throw.
46 seconds to play in the third quarter. Can Chaminade put their first touchdown of the game in on this drive? They have 2nd and 10 from the 30-yard line. Carnevale with a screen set up left side gets absolutely blown up by Robert Hommel for St. Anthony's.
Yeah, just absolutely nothing going for Hank Peterson. They've tried this one out a couple times, a little slip screen to the tight end, but St. Anthony's just flowing aggressively up to the ball, and there Hommel makes Peterson pay the price.
Brings up 3rd and 14 for Chaminade, who have been in this situation now a few times in this game on 3rd and long. We'll see if they get a playoff before the end of the third quarter. 7 seconds and running. Now under 5. They do get the snap. Carnevale drops it back. He's under pressure. And he's going to be ran right up to the sideline and tackled down by John Drew. as the clock expires on this third quarter. 26-3 is the score. St. Anthony's in the driver's seat.
As a reminder, restrooms and concessions.
They have another dominant quarter. And the touchdown, another one from DSO.
To McDermott right there, the sophomore getting active. And all St. Anthony's through 3. We'll see what Chaminade's able to dial up here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
At St. Francis Heart Center, we're not just regional heart experts. We share our greater success with the world. We don't just pioneer technology. We do it more than anywhere on Greater Long Island. And we don't just win awards. We deliver greater outcomes for people like you. As New York's only specialty designated cardiac center, we're not satisfied with just being good. This is Long Island. This is St. Francis Heart Center. And greater lives here.
Now,
12 minutes left to play here in this rivalry Saturday matchup on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Chaminade back to punt now, trailing by 23 against St. Anthony's, who have really dominated this rivalry, with the exception of last year where Chaminade was able to get the road win to start the season. This punt up and away. Looks like it got tipped at the line by St. Anthony's. So it'll be down at the 47. They'll start on the right side of midfield for the Friars.
Yeah, it looked like that was Brendan Shaughnessy, the senior defensive end, who's able to get a finger on it. And be great field position once again for DSO and company, who haven't needed any help all day long, running like a well-oiled machine. And as they look to really close this one out here at Gold Star Stadium, expect a continued diet of what we've seen all day long. Bala, Russo, some great blocking from Prokop, and then Moore, McDermott, some other guys out on the edge.
Right now for Coach Joe Minucci and his staff, it's about getting to the finish line with a 23-point lead. They're going to go right to Bala. Makes a nice cut behind the line and pushes it forward to the 46-yard line.
Bala with the carry.
Bala does such a good job with those little subtle cuts, north-south running. It can really just wear down a defense. You don't always see it in just the big plays of Bala, but really everything he opens up as defense continually key on number 14. St. Anthony's just bleeding this clock right here. Happy to use up most of the play clock as time winds down for Chaminade's hopes.
Handoff right side, Bala cuts it up, now has a lane, breaks a tackle, breaks another, and gets taken down at the 26-yard line. He's starting to heat up in the second half.
Yeah, it's a really nice block here by number 75, Rocco Scalise. That's going to open this one up. He's 6'2", 265 pounds at a Copeg, and boom, you see that kind of pancake into the backfield. Don't have to give Xavier Bala too much room to really make you pay the price.
Bala had the touchdown rush that got negated due to a holding call. Hasn't found the end zone otherwise, and one of Coach Tom Clara's keys to the game for Chaminade was let's slow down Xavier Bala, and I think all things considered, they've done that pretty effectively today, but they still trail 23 points. Bala gets the carry now, breaks a tackle, and Bala escapes for another touchdown, and there it is. He gets his score back, and St. Anthony's is now up 32-3.
Kevin, right on cue there. You're calling for it. Xavier Bala, a guy who wears out defenses, tends to be even more effective in the fourth quarter than he is in the first. And there, you'll see him just break a couple would-be Chaminade tackles. Arm tackles are not going to get it done when you're talking about the most powerful back in all of New York State football. And there he scampers in for his 15th touchdown on the year.
Again, Bala just has almost the entirety of Division I football clamoring for him to come play at their school. Right now, a junior, still has another year left here at St. Anthony's. It's an unbelievable talent. You see it right there, and all game long, just wearing down this defense.
Bala, a guy who came in with a lot of expectations to South Huntington. He was a freshman All-American before he even stepped foot on campus. The rare freshman to get called up to varsity for the Friars, and he just continued to develop, get better and better each year, and really having a standout junior season in South Huntington, living up to the hype.
When it comes to the recruiting offers that we're aware of, 18 of them for Xavier Bala: Virginia, Minnesota, Alabama, Penn State, Ohio State, Nebraska, Maryland, Boise State, Eastern Michigan, Temple, UMass, UConn, Boston College, Buffalo, Rutgers, Stony Brook, Bowling Green, and Syracuse.
That's a mouthful right there. I might have to put in a call to my former coach, Dabo Sweeney, down in Clemson, South Carolina, figure out why the Tigers aren't yet on that list. But I think any major program would be lucky to have number 14 setting up shop here in a couple years.
As somebody who went through that recruiting process, won a national championship at Clemson, what's your advice to a guy in that spot when you have all of these teams coming for you? And let's be honest, every one of those teams looks like a good place to play.
I think it really comes down to just the way that you connect with the coaching staff and the culture of such a program, right? You know, there's a lot of great options on that list, but you really want to make a decision that's not just a 4-year decision, but a 40-year decision. Where do I want to live? Where do I think I'm going to be developed? Who's going to give me the best chance of going to the next level while getting my degree? So I'm sure these are all things that the Bala family are taking very seriously as they go through this process.
Great coverage again from St. Anthony's on that kickoff.
George Skandaris right there with the tackle for St. Anthony's. And really, you just kind of see the hallmarks of this program as the reasons why the Friars have been successful today. They've got so much depth across the board. A lot of tough athletes who would be stars respectively at the public schools that they all came from. But they go to South Huntington to try and be a part of something bigger than themselves, and largely for games like today against your key rival.
There are a lot of guys on this team who were here last year when they lost to Chaminade and had their streak snapped. I'd say that their performance today leads me to believe, as a good completion to the near sideline is pulled in by Michael Genovese. But I'd say last year's loss is playing a role a little bit, and St. Anthony's really wanted to make sure they get this one today.
No doubt, yeah. Last year was a real shocker in the opening week to see the Friars go down at home against Chaminade. Now they took that negativity, that poor start, and really used it as motivation the rest of their season. They wound up going all the way to the AAA final and ultimately losing to Iona Prep. But this is a team that thinks that they're poised and as talented as anybody in this league. This is the kind of game that you can build on as they look to make a playoff run deep once again this year.
Completion to the right side for Sean Powers gets another first down.
Yeah, Sean Powers, guy who had 88 yards in the loss last week to Iona Prep. Still fighting hard out there. And Chaminade looking to get some things going. St. Anthony's has a lot of their reserves subbed into this game right now. And that's another angle here. If you're St. Anthony's, can't underestimate the importance of getting some competitive depth to your team. These moments are big. And you see another huge hit right there from Robert Hamel.
Flag down after the hit.
Hamel's fired up right here with that hit over the middle, but that little talking right after the play in Hank Peterson's face is something that's just not going to fly at any level of sports. You might have seen, if you're a Giants fan, Cam Scattaboo get called for taunting last week against the Eagles on something that looked relatively benign. So even though you're fired up, got to keep your composure here into this fourth quarter.
Something that certainly every league is cracking down on from top to bottom, and here in the Catholic League, it's no different. Hank Peterson was there for the reception and the first down, so Chaminade does have something going here. You at least want to try to put in these building blocks for next week and moving forward. Try and make the score look a little better, execute a few things offensively. Drop back throw right side is going to be sailed out of bounds, intended target Aaron Blades.
That's been a continued trouble for Sean Carnevale today. Just some balls sailing on him a little bit. I'm sure when they look at that film, they kind of dissect those mechanics, see what's brought him off target at points today. But, you know, you mentioned it. Chaminade still needs to find some things that they can build off of from this week. They're a talented team that was one of 2 teams in all New York State that won their Battle of the Bridge matchup over in New Jersey. So they know what their potential is. They haven't played up to it here today, which has to be disappointing, but still a lot of football to be played in this 25 season.
Carnevale gets it off under pressure, and it's in for a touchdown. Bobby Fasci has it for the first score of the day for Chaminade.
Gotta feel good right there by Bobby Fasci. He's just a sophomore with a bright future, and as we mentioned earlier, an NFL lineage, and here does a really good job. Carnevale a little creative getting that ball off and just leans forward, knows where the end zone is, and able to break the plane before he's brought down. Gotta feel good to get into the end zone for Chaminade.
Flyers will go for 2 in what is now a 24-point game. Give to Trapani. He lowers the head and gets in. 33-11 is the score now.
Yeah, right here, Trapani does a good job following his lead blockers. Great job up front by Mike Latamata, clearing open a hole for him and able to convert on that 2-point conversion. So though it might be too little, too late for the Flyers, still has to feel good after all the positive momentum they've had at times on offense today to finally finish off a drive in the red zone.
They get in for the touchdown. 33-11 is the score. We'll see on the kickoff now how aggressive they are. Still down 3 scores. As much as the game feels out of reach, how far do you want to go here to try and change that if you're Tom Claro?
If I'm Tom Claro, I think you leave it all out on the field, right? You know, even though it's slim odds of you guys fighting your way back into this one, I don't see why you wouldn't do an onside kick. St. Anthony's been moving the ball at will, whether you pin them in their own territory or give them good field position. So why not try and steal a possession here? And also, getting these reps with onside kick situations, you never know when later on in the season that's going to come into paramount importance. We actually saw a few weeks ago St. Anthony's properly execute an onside kick against Monsignor Farrell and almost win that game immediately thereafter.
St. Anthony's is setting up for the onside kick. See how Chaminade plays it. They'll roll one right up the middle. Easy grab, and going right down for St. Anthony's. That's Noah Allen. So they'll have a clean possession. They'll start things off at around the 35-yard line with a 22-point lead and 8 minutes to play in the fourth.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see the backup for St. Anthony's coming in at some point. Looks like DSO is marching out on the field, but last week got a nice showing from their backup quarterback, Brody Richard, who was able to drive down and score a touchdown against Cardinal Hayes. Probably the last drive of the day for DSO.
Christian Bordeaux gets the carry to the left side. He's going to pick up a few yards, then break a tackle and end up getting 9 on the play. Really strong run.
Yeah, Bordeaux's a guy who was banged up here early on in the season for St. Anthony's. He's got a really bright future in South Huntington. Been working hard to get back. Last week, Coach Minucci said he was about 80-85%. But football is the kind of game where you can play hurt, can't play injured, and he's fighting back and really making an impact.
Chaminade jumped. Immediate flag down.
First down and 10.
And that's just continued frustration for Chaminade. It's been a long day for those boys out on defense. Right there, give up an easy, fresh set of downs for St. Anthony's.
Christian Bordeaux gets the reps here. Not an easy place as a running back right now to break through and get your carries with Xavier Balla in front of you, but he gets an opportunity here, a sophomore, so one day this backfield will be his when he's a senior, potentially for some time next year. Also, he's a year younger than Balla, and he's shown some signs this season that he can certainly be the next great lead back for St. Anthony's.
Yeah, got to feel confident about the future for Friars fans. Anthony DSO, who's played so well and had so much composure in this rivalry game today, also only a sophomore. A couple sophomores up front starting for them, and Brody Hoffman at left guard and Justin Joseph at right tackle. So the groundwork is certainly laid for continued success for Coach Minucci's program.
It's going to be a tackle for loss for Chaminade as Bordeaux had nowhere to run. 3rd and long will be next up.
Looks like Matt Arias laying out on the field. Hopefully he's all right as he gets back up.
But you see the referees take a timeout there.
Bordeaux with the carry. 3rd down and 14.
Matt Arias walks off the field. Right there, going to be a 3rd down and 14 situation for St. Anthony's. And I'd expect them to stay conservative here as the clock drains past 6 minutes and 30 seconds left in the ball game. 22-point lead. And this is about as stress-free as you could ever expect to feel in enemy territory for the Friars.
Again, 3rd and 14 here. DSO still the signal man for the Friars, and we got a timeout for Joe Minucci. We'll step out for a moment. 6:01 to play here in the 4th quarter, 33-11 the score. St. Anthony's on top. They want to talk things over. We'll be right back on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Back live from Gold Star Field, where Chaminade's down 22 points. St. Anthony's has controlled the majority of this game. They have a big 3rd and 14 here, though. Take a look at the upcoming sportscast here on Varsity Media. It's the best time of the year. Tomorrow, Fordham Prep and Holy Trinity at 1:30. It's a big football game right here on YouTube. And then Saturday, Lynbrook and Cold Spring Harbor face off at 2 p.m. You don't want to miss those. Go to youtube.com/varsity media. Once again, it's youtube.com/varsity media.
And Fordham Prep with a tall task, heading down from the Bronx to Hicksville. Holy Trinity, a program we've seen in the AAA in recent years, back down at the AA1.
Bordeaux on the carry, running hard to the 44-yard line. He is tough to bring down when he gets space.
Yeah, he's a guy who's pretty special when he has the rock in his hands, well built as just a sophomore. And looks like St. Anthony is going to leave that offense out on the field. They are in Chaminade territory for a 4th down and about 3.5. A little bit of a hard count right there as he looks back towards the sideline.
And a hand to Bordeaux. He stumbles forward. And I think just short.
So I'm sure Coach Tom Clower and company are not big fans of moral victories, but you have seen your defense step up a little bit here. As we look at Chaminade, guys at the next level.
It's a really good group of guys here. Again, for Chaminade, you have so many talents. You have guys at Wesleyan, Stonehill, MIT, Davidson. Great group of linemen here. They pump out linemen like nobody else.
Without a doubt. You know, that this school is built up front, but right in the middle, Charlie Battaglia, a guy who didn't get a ton of college looks, was actually a walk-on at Stonehill College, recently took home the NEC Defensive Player of the Week up there.
Throw over the middle is caught and fumbled. St. Anthony's is on it. So the completion was over the middle to Hank Peterson. It got punched out. And it looks like the Friars will not get possession, so they're going to say Peterson was down.
And this is a bang-bang play right here as we look at this replay. Peterson able to get the ball, nicely delivered pass from Carnevale. And that looks like that was a little bit loose before his knee came down. Fortunate turn of events for the Flyers as the white hat helps him out a little bit, but it's a fast sport. To the naked eye, that looked as close as it could get.
Chaminade caught a break. Now the delivery downfield just behind the intended target, Michael Genovese.
Carnevale's just struggled today at times to get on the same page as his receivers, whether it be Genovese or Sean Powers. He's a guy going into today who's completing about 65% of his passes, 7 touchdowns, only 3 picks on the year. So he's certainly a capable guy back there. But St. Anthony's brought a lot of pressure in his face, made him uncomfortable, and some of the struggles continue.
2nd down and 10 now. Carnevale drops back, looks over the middle, fires. Fasci has the reception just short of the 1st down. They're past the 35-yard line.
And right here, you see Bobby Fasci, the sophomore, coming over the middle. He had the touchdown on their last drive. And here does a good job just kind of finding the soft spot. As we mentioned, his dad, JP, the tight ends coach here in Mineola, does such a good job with that group across Peterson, Fasci, and Nick Sweeney, who also had a catch earlier in this game.
Under 4 minutes to play. Look right side, throw, completion. It'll be a 1st down, tiptoeing, staying in bounds, and finally knocked out. Great reception for Sean Powers.
Yeah, right there. Does a good job tiptoeing through the tulips down the sideline. Breaking a couple tackles. Got to maintain that ball security a little bit, son, but right there, a really good job. And that's going to set up a 1st and almost goal. They got about 10.5 to go for the touchdown. And I'm sure the Flyers would love to punch one more in against their rivals before this one's over.
Even just to make that score look a little bit more pleasant when you look back on this season. Sometimes it could go a long way mentally. Going to get a flag right away on Chaminade.
Certainly not what they needed.
1st down and 15.
And it's funny, if you want to know how much this game means to both these squads, St. Anthony's had briefly shifted over to some of their backups in this game on defense. Now looking out there, it's that whole starting unit trying to clamp down in the red zone. While Chaminade wants to massage this score a little bit, I think St. Anthony's wants to add some insult to injury.
Carnevale drops back, takes a hit, pass is incomplete, looking for Peterson.
And he's going to get hit right there by Robert Hommel right as he's letting go of the ball, disrupts that pass just a little bit. Hommel, another guy who's had a big day defensively for the Friars.
They trail by 22, looking to just cut into that a little bit more.
Here you'll see a couple tight ends out there. Got Sweeney in the game as well.
Immediate pressure from Kevin Moore. Carnevale breaks free of that, but then runs right into 2 Friars at the 12-yard line. That's where he's taken down. It'll bring up 3rd down.
Yeah, it's John Drew right there. Playing that spy over the middle for St. Anthony's. Drew's a guy who's been a physical presence all year long from East Northport.
It's 3rd and 12 here, but the 1st down marker is essentially at the pylon, so you have to score in order to keep this thing alive. Carnevale drops back, looks right, throws it to the end zone, incomplete. Again, looking for Sean Powers. So it'll be 4th and 12.
Yeah, some lockdown coverage from Anthony Sanchez. It can be kind of a Sophie's choice for quarterbacks playing against this St. Anthony's secondary. On one side, you got Kevin Moore, who's as talented a corner as there is in the league. And then the other side, you see Anthony Sanchez. He's got 3 picks on the year, has played some shutdown defense, been Sanchez Island all day long. Tough sledding.
Really impressive group of defensive backs able to play at every level of the field. Carnevale looks for the end zone. Touchdown! Powers on the reception.
And right there, Sean Powers gets the better of that battle. The previous play, you saw Sanchez shut it down. Goes right back to that same matchup out on the edge. And Powers, who had a touchdown last week against Iona Prep, able to bring this one in for 6 and stands up, flexing on this crowd here at Gold Star Stadium. Has to feel good to see how your offense is played in this fourth quarter if you're calling plays for Chaminade.
2-point try in a 16-point game. Up the middle and in for the conversion is Anthony Trapani. Now a 14-point game. You probably go to the true onside kick here.
Absolutely. Starting to get a little close for comfort for Joe Minucci and his staff. They're hoping that they wouldn't have to be sweating anymore on that far sideline here at Gold Star Stadium, but the 2-score game has to make you a little bit nervous. It becomes a big onside kick here that's going to come from Jones.
We saw that hands team come up on the last return for St. Anthony's. We'll see how they attack it this time. You get Kevin Moore on that front line, who's been such an impactful player in this game, but also in the entire season. You also see Johnny Russo, two of the key members of the passing game offensively, man the front line.
Skandaris to the opposite side.
And it looks like they'll kick away from the near side, so try to avoid more. That kick to the left side is going to be played. And St. Anthony's likely puts the result of this game on ice. Brody Reichert was there for the recovery. And now with 2:39 left, the Friars will get the ball back with a 14-point lead.
Yeah, if you're St. Anthony's, you got to get 1 first down. You can likely put out the victory formation, go back home to South Huntington in great spirits. And, I think going into this year in the broader AAA division of this New York Catholic High School Football League, you kind of thought it was 2 tiers. There's Iona Prep and everybody else. But as we saw last night, Monsignor Farrell going up to New Rochelle, getting a 1-touchdown victory. It really is as tight as could be near the top of this division. St. Anthony's played close games with both of those opponents. Feel like they have the opportunity to make a run at another title, something they haven't done since 2022. And the way they played the last couple weeks, I don't know anybody who'd feel comfortable going into South Huntington in a playoff environment and trying to walk away with a win.
Bordeaux's carry went just short of the sticks to midfield. As we approach 2 minutes to play. Can really bleed the clock here now, and you're right, a first down likely just gives them enough to run this out.
Here's Bordeaux once again.
Maybe stopped just short of the first there. We'll see where the spot goes.
Going to be a close one, but looks like our officiating crew thought Bordeaux got there. That's going to set up a fresh set of downs. And now only a matter of time until this one's over.
Your touchdown scorers for St. Anthony's today. Most recently, it was Xavier Bala, Rory McDermott, Johnny Russo, Anthony Diesso, and Kevin Moore punched in the 5 scores. Really good all-around day for this team.
Kevin, how many high school teams out there can have 5 guys find the end zone in a single game? I mean, that really just speaks to kind of the bevy of different options that you have if you're Chuck Menzer calling plays for the Friars. Makes it so much easier to keep an opposing defense honest.
You got it in every way possible. A couple passing touchdowns, the rushing touchdown from your quarterback, 2 rushing touchdowns on the ground.
Second down and 4. Timeout, Chaminade.
Right there you see the upcoming schedule for the Flyers at Cardinal Hayes, up at Columbia, which is never an easy trip to make from Long Island, and then finishing up at Kellenberg, a team in the AAA division that's had their fair share of struggles. So I'm sure if you're Tom Claro, even though you don't like the way things went today, got to feel some confidence in your team's ability to finish up strong. They're going to drop to 4-4, but if you can claw back to 6-4, head into playoff time, they'll be in good shape. On the flip side, a tough trip for St. Anthony's next weekend at Archbishop Stepinac in White Plains. Stepinac really back this year after a couple down seasons. And then at Fordham Prep. Never easy going to the Bronx and Joe Moglia Field, but Fordham Prep, a program that's been down in recent years, should look at that one as a very winnable game for the Friars.
Good tackle made to keep Bordeaux short of the sticks. For Chaminade, it was Thomas Jemison.
Yeah, really nice play by the senior from Babylon, who just does everything you ask if you're a coach. Great technique. Two-time starter up there on the defensive line for Chaminade. And Tom Claro exhausting those timeouts, trying to get his offense one more possession here, see if he could score quickly and then run another onside. But got to say, not looking good at this junction of the game.
93 seconds left to go. Now's a good time to remind you that Varsity Media is your home for the 2025 CHSFL Championships. Go to www.youtube.com/varsitymedia for all of the Catholic High School Football Championships this year. No other place to be than right here at Varsity Media. Once again, www.youtube.com/varsitymedia.
Yeah, that's always a fun day out at Mitchell Field. Get 3 great matchups every year. It'll be my 5th year in the booth. Getting the chance to call those, and one of the most competitive leagues in all of Northeastern athletics.
Bordeaux's run gets shut down once again. That time on defense, Anthony Trapani got it done, who's been a great story all season long for the Flyers.
Bordeaux with the carry.
All of a sudden, looking at 4th and 8.
Timeout, Chaminade.
Joe Minucci having to think about this one, but if I'm him, I'm kicking this deep and asking Chaminade to try and go 90-plus yards down the field. We shall see if it's Kevin Moore coming out there to punt for the Friars, or if they'll elect to stay aggressive here and go for it. Either way, the key thing is on defense, got to play deep with that secondary. Once Chaminade has the ball back, make sure they can't get anything quick, trailing by 14 with just 1:27 left.
Of course, Coach Minucci feels good right now. You feel comfortable with where you are, but there is a path to Chaminade getting back here. You can't act like there isn't, so you have to play this safe. You have to make sure that you don't make that critical mistake that could be a little bit of a door opener with only 87 seconds left to play in this game.
Yeah, if you're looking at an ESPN win probability matrix, probably 99% St. Anthony's, but I'm sure Coach Tom Claro is saying, so you're saying there's a chance. Let's get a stop here and see what happens.
The offense back out there, Diesso in the shotgun, Bordeaux to his left, and Chaminade jumps.
That was Anthony Trapani there off the edge. Guy who's had such a good game out here today on both sides of the ball. Can't be happy with the way that this one has finished up, but nonetheless, you look at Trapani, just a junior, so still another chance in his career to try and upset these Friars.
Again, a 14-point lead right now for St. Anthony's. That 4th and 8 just got moved up to 4th and 3 with that encroachment. Diesso will take it, enough for the first down, which will put this game on ice for St. Anthony's. He's done a great job with his legs today.
Yeah, Diesso just finds the seam. Not much open there for him, but able to get to the sticks, and this is the best play call in any coach's repertoire, the victory formation. I know back in college at Clemson, we always finished up our walkthroughs on Friday by getting into victory formation. You don't always get to do it, but boy, what a sweet feeling for a St. Anthony squad that's played as complete a football game as they've played all year long out here in their biggest rivalry.
After losing it last year, they come out this year and make sure to remind everybody who's supposed to be on top. They've won so many years before that. For Chaminade, they came out, got a big win in Coach Claro's first game last year. And you know what? They're back on the other side of it now, but that's the way the rivalry goes.
No doubt. And Coach Claro is trying to build up a similar culture as St. Anthony's has. As we've mentioned, Chaminade, more so a school that people think about on the lacrosse side versus football. And Coach Claro, when talking to us, was saying, hey, I'm trying to get it to the point where guys are choosing to come to Mineola with that sole intent of playing some winning football here. He thinks he's got the ability to do it. Their talent is moving in the right direction every single year, and expect to see this rivalry tighten up year after year as Claro and company keep building out the kind of program that they know they're capable of running.
Clock hits 0 on this game, 33-19 the final score for St. Anthony's, getting the win, back in the win column in this rivalry. We appreciate you spending the afternoon with us. From the jump today, it was going to be the Friars' afternoon as they get the win on the road here at beautiful Gold Star Stadium.
Yeah, great play all day long by Anthony Diesso. Saw a mix of his talented arm and those wheels that he possesses. Just a sophomore, played great. Nice ball to Kevin Moore. McDermott over the middle. Although Chaminade fought back in the end with this Foshi touchdown, ultimately not enough to overcome that deficit. And gotta feel good for number one, just a sophomore, knowing that he's going to be the hero in school on Monday morning after reclaiming the trophy over Chaminade.
Once again, we thank you for joining us this afternoon on Rivalry Saturday from Varsity Media. I'd like to thank our executive producer, Ben Turchin, technical director, Becca Kazaks, our camera operators, Steve Ferrandino, Mike Verde, and for my partner, Pat Godfrey, I'm Kevin Bunk. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll see you next time on the Varsity Media Sports Network.